make your smart devices do silly things. Free to open a world of remote work and a portal into Gametopia.
Who's the boss now?
Free to be everything you imagine, and then some. That's how it feels to have Quantum Fiber Internet. Quantum Fiber, your world unleashed. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service and select.
Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma.
This hour is brought to you by the Harnish Auto family.
Give me a freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
I don't read the internet, guys.
Take the bull by the hands.
And Brooke, you are. And Brooke, you are.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Eward and Mike Salk.
All right, let's do this. It is the Brock and Salk Show, Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com, the Seattle Sports application, and, of course, all the podcast platforms. It's Formal Friday. It's a Football Friday powered by the Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. No Brock today. He had meetings, unfortunately, but we got some cool stuff. You guys know Greg Bishop, our good buddy from Sports Illustrated. He's going to join us at 7 for the whole hour. Come in, and I started texting with Greg last week before and during the Tyson fight because he's super into boxing and super connected in that world. And then, he's worked on a ton of cool stuff recently. He's got a good Mahomes piece out. He did some stuff, Lyle, for you on Anthony Richardson, so we'll talk a little Anthony Richardson with him today. Seahawks stuff. He's got a bunch of cool stuff going on. So he will join us for the whole 7 o'clock hour, which would be pretty fun. And Adam Amin is going to join me at 8:30. He is calling the game on Sunday, Seahawks and Cardinals. So that'll happen a little bit later today. So that's kind of setting up the morning for you. 2 thoughts on last night's game. Actually, kind of 3. So thought number 1, the very idea that they are talking about building a dome stadium in Cleveland is sacrilege. It's awful. It should not happen. Somebody should make it stop. It's a bad idea. The NFL cannot get rid of any potential snow games like it had last night.
Last night was great.
It was awesome. It was awesome. That was the most entertaining game played by 2 teams I could give a you-know-what about. I've seen him forever. It was great. Who didn't enjoy that game? And, oh, by the way, are they filming it differently now? Did it look different on your TV with the snow where, sometimes it seemed like they were almost enhancing some of the players? Did you get that effect on your TV?
I felt like sometimes they would just do different shots because, it was getting pretty white out in some of the views, and then they would do different angles from the side.
They definitely constantly had to shift. It looked to us as if they were maybe enhancing some of the colors around the players' uniforms or something like that. It almost looked like it was, at some points, it almost looked like a thermal shot or something like that in order to show the game a little bit more clearly. But for whatever reason, the shots were just beautiful last night. The game was super entertaining. And the NFL, look, anytime there's snow on the field and especially coming down like that, people are interested. It's fun to watch. The Snow Bowl in 2001, 2002 is one of my favorite sporting events I've ever watched. Snow makes things incredibly entertaining. And Cleveland, because of the lake effect, which I was Googling because I really wanted to make sure I understood the lake effect, gets a lot of snow. Lake effect generally around the Great Lakes is going to affect the cities and areas south and east of the Great Lakes. North and west going to stay a little bit more a little less snow because of the way the winds blow out of the northwest. So because of that, the cold winds blow over the they blow over the water, and that the winds at the bottom change temperature, and that lifts the snow and the moisture up into the air, and then it freezes. And then you get the lake effect snow like we got last night. You know what you're not going to get if you build a dome? Lake effect snow during a game. In Buffalo or in Cleveland or any place like that. So no domes, please. Otherwise, where are we going to see complete morons with their shirt off when it's 27 degrees out? Gosh. Anyway, I loved it. I thought that was super entertaining last night. So please, 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 I hope the good people of Cleveland don't end up building a dome. It'll be just another cool thing that will be lost. And that'll be a bummer. So that's one. Number 2, see, the players look translucent. Thank you, 253. That's what I thought. The players almost looked translucent at times. I don't know what they were doing, but it seemed like they were almost enhancing the picture because it looked great. It looked amazing. So cool. 2, Jameis Winston is not a national treasure. Stop saying that.
You need to talk to G because he's tweeting that.
Just stop saying it. He's not a national treasure. No, he's not.
I know that it's tough because I have to admit the guy is funny and he's like always bubbly and happy. But yeah.
He's not a national treasure. I'm out. Please stop saying that. He's not a national treasure. He's a guy who seems to have gotten away with a lot of pretty icky stuff over the course of his career, and it seems like many of those things occurred because of who he was and where he was doing them. You don't have to like rip him every time he's on TV. I get it. Like at a certain point, you have to be able to move past things guys have done. As like last week, we talked about Tyson. And again, Tyson paid his debt to society. It's been a really long time since Tyson's done, since he came out of jail. At some point, the story can evolve. But, geez, I just feel like Jameis everything has just been whitewashed with Jameis. And you just go, he's a national treasure. No, he's not. He's not a national treasure at all. And I won't be rooting for Jameis Winston. Sorry. That's just not going to happen. That's an absolute NO for me. That's a non-starter. The last one, I guess I could tell you the story. I just thought it was funny. I sent you guys the text about this last night. I was dying. I thought this was so funny. So there is my older daughter, Avery, her class has to have like 100, 120 kids in it, something like that. And all of the parents and guardians are on one group thread on WhatsApp. I don't usually use WhatsApp, but for whatever reason, they put all these like parental group threads on WhatsApp, which I think is funny in its own right. But anyway, they have these. And it doesn't get used that often. But at the end of the game, like if you look back, all these things are like, hey, here's some pictures of the fun night out that some of the parents had, or here's some information on whether or not school's going to be starting on time. And then this guy, right after that game ends last night, texts the entire 200 and some odd person parental thread. That was AFC North winter football, mother bleepers. Just like, what? Dude, that is so. Of course, I screenshotted it knowing that that's going to be gone soon. He obviously texted the wrong thread. And after doing a little research through a friend, it sounds like he has a fantasy football group that he texts with. And twice in 2 days, he has sent stuff like that to the wrong thread, which is great.
Lock it up, my dude.
Dude. So all I want to know is how mad this guy's wife is, Adam. I don't know the guy, and I'm obviously not going to say his name or anything, but like I really want to know how mad his wife is as soon as she looks down at her phone and sees him texting that to the entire grade of parents, most of whom don't really know each other. It's not like a tight-knit community. So anyway, it's got his name on it, which I also think is funny, so everyone knows who it is. It's got a picture of him. And yeah, as I told you guys yesterday, this isn't exactly like a football forward community, right? Told people what I did, and they were like, on the rate you talk about sports? Huh. On the radio? There's still radio? Like, yeah, I do, and I talk about sports. This same group received this message, and nobody replied. One person gave like the shocked and surprised ghost, what do you call that emoji? The one where it kind of turns blue at the top. You know what I mean? The gasp emoji, I guess it would be. One person gave that, and that was it. Nobody else responded. I was hoping we'd have like a whole bonding moment over this poor guy's fate. But instead, nobody did anything. All right. 360 says Jameis Winston, certified national treasure. Whatever, dude. Get a life. Coming up next, we'll give you guys everything you actually need to know. We've got some fun with G. Scott. Lyle is in charge of a Mariner segment. And speaking of these Mariners, did we get the very beginnings of enormously good news for the Mariners yesterday? Maybe. I'll tell you how next. Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710 and seattlesports.com.
When you're running the hurry up and don't have time for your favorite Seattle sports shows, listen to the podcast on demand.
How about that? Unbelievable. Who would have thought?
Every hour, every interview, every look behind the scenes.
He is your new Seahawks head coach, Mike McDonald.
We want to play a certain way, and you're just going to chisel away at it every day.
Find us on seattlesports.com, the Seattle Sports app, or wherever you get podcasts.
All signs continue to point to it being the right hire.
Never miss a minute of Seattle sports, the home of the Seahawks.
With Floor Coverings International, the mobile flooring showroom comes to you. Book an appointment, pick out the flooring you like, and they'll order and install it for you. It's that easy. Visit FCIFloors.com to book an appointment. Floor Coverings International, the stars of flooring.
Want to listen to Seattle sports on your smart speaker?
Hey, smart speaker, play Seattle sports.
This message is powered by the EQC Sportsbook at Emerald Queen Casino. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
I've always said, the car sales in the 1980s and 1990s, earned the rep that we have today. The concerns that consumers have because of what has happened in our industry in the past, they're warranted. It's our job to show them that that's not how business is done anymore, right? It's very different business. It's much more transparent. There's much more information that's available to people, and we're much more customer focused than I think the car industry was, 20, 30 years ago. I'm more focused on providing good customer service and relationships, because I think if you take care of people, money will always come. So I think just the philosophy and the focus for us has changed, where I was constantly chasing a paycheck, and now I'm just constantly trying to take care of customers and employees, because I know if I do that, then my paycheck will take care of itself.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Wow, look at these Black Friday deals on TVs. Samsung, Sony, and LG at the lowest prices of the year, even on their top-rated models. Now we can get that top-rated Samsung we were thinking about, but we'll need to get up early on Friday.
These are great deals, but why wait? Video Only has all these deals right now. We can get what we want today, and they're even offering no-interest financing.
So we can get these Black Friday deals right now at Video Only and pay it off later?
Yep, and many of their prices are better than those flyers.
Better than Black Friday? No wonder Video Only got those high scores when they rated TV stores. Let's head over now and beat the crowds.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or dishwashers, but you will find the best deals on the best TVs, soundbars, and home theater systems. Shop around, but then make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In South Center, Bellevue, Linwood, Federal Way, and Tacoma. Video Only.
Hey, fans! Welcome back to Fansville's Cheers and Tears. Oh. Okay, so everybody deals with losing, right? To a rival on a last-second field goal. Whatever, it's fine. I'm totally fine. But I cope with losing with an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. Those 23 flavors are so delicious. They totally wash away the pain of your college football team taking a big fat L. College football. It's a pepper thing.
At the Home Depot, we know Saturdays are for college football. That's why we have everything you need to never miss a play. Like North America's #1 home fire safety brand, Kidda. Because on a day full of football sounds you love, like fight songs, roaring crowds, and your favorite commentators...
Like me, Kirk Herbstreit.
The last sound you want to hear is... Defend your game time with Kidda and the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Based on total household installations as of December 2023.
Seahawks Player Spotlight.
Man, it felt good to go out there and be able to contribute.
Exclusive interviews with your favorite Seahawks.
We got a genius as the head coach.
Every day with Wyman and Bob.
Post Malone presents the Big Ass Stadium Tour. 9-time Diamond Certified and 16-time Grammy Award nominated phenomenon, Post Malone. His biggest headline tour, live at T-Mobile Park, June 26th. Global superstar Post Malone with Jelly Roll. Pre-sale for Citi Card members is available now at LiveNation.com.
When searching for the most advanced prostate cancer treatment, excellent outcomes, minimal side effects, and a short treatment course, CyberKnife at Swedish is top of the list. Swedish CyberKnife patients report a better quality of life both during and after treatment. Swedish CyberKnife treats patients from all over the Pacific Northwest. So if you, a friend, or a family member is diagnosed with prostate cancer, consider Swedish CyberKnife. Go to swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife.
What's your holiday tradition? Now, if you're like me, it involves gathering around a big meal to celebrate. Well, what if there's no food on the table? Hey, it's G-Sky. This year, help someone less fortunate celebrate the holidays by supporting Nourishing Neighbors. The Nourishing Neighbors program provides grocery cards to the people who are the most impacted by food insecurity. So make a donation next time that you're at Safeway and help make sure everyone is welcome at the table for the holidays. Go to nourishingneighbors.com to learn more.
So here's the deal with Mariners season ticket memberships. You've got two great options. With a Flex membership, you have the freedom to pick your seats, games, and number of tickets whenever you want. Or, if you like knowing where you're sitting all season long, go with a Reserved membership and lock in your seats from day one. Both plans get you access to exclusive pre-sales, year-round discounts, special event invites, and more. Check it out at mariners.com/25.
Now Raleigh wins it in the 10th inning for the Mariners.
This hour is brought to you by the Harnish Auto family.
Need to know. Brought to you by Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Well, it's about as healthy as you could possibly expect a team to be at this point in the season. Really the biggest concern this week. Leonard Williams, who, you know what? We just don't talk about Leonard Williams enough. As good as he's been this year, as dominant a force as he can be, we don't discuss how important he's been to this team nearly enough. And you're going to need him to help take out this Arizona running game. He missed his second practice in a row with a foot injury, but that did start last week. He played through it, so I guess we're all fairly hopeful that this isn't going to affect him too much in the game. Abe Lucas took the day off, but that does seem to be more preventative than anything else. Ryan Grubb yesterday sounded pretty confident about Abe's ability to play a whole game.
Yeah, I think he is. I think we're going to, let him go out there and eat and see what he can do.
Okay. It's weird how Grubb will often say a whole lot more than Mike McDonald seems to be willing to. As for what they got out of Lucas last week, more from the OC.
Really good. He's super physical. He's got the right demeanor on the sideline. It was noticeable, just his intent and his mindset. He's a very intense guy, loves playing. It was great to have him back. I was actually really impressed with his ability to sustain on that last drive, because I know that it was hard, and just when you get into longer drives like that and you're not in game shape yet, it's certainly tough. So I think it speaks a little bit to his demeanor and the type of mindset that he does have. But he played great. He didn't play perfect, but we were all really, really impressed. And I think, moving forward, he's going to be a big-time difference maker for us.
Well, he sure seemed to be in week one, and you would think that it's all upside, really, from there. Even Noah Fant able to get back on the field yesterday. He could be a go for Sunday. So, again, injury stuff all looks great. Practice has been a little odd this week, as they've not had any power at the Seahawks facility for the last couple of days, just due to all of the power outages still remaining around the east side and throughout western Washington here. Geno Smith said, yeah, they're doing what they can.
It's just a little bit colder in the indoor, as you guys see. But for the most part, the prep has been great. I think guys have, obviously without power at home, it's going to, hinder some things. But guys have been doing a great job at, studying. And it allows you to spend extra hours at the facility. If you don't got power at home, you got power here. So you can spend extra hours here and just studying. And, we're not going to use it as an excuse. There's a lot of people without power, and we're just blessed to be able to, come to work and still do our job.
Man, Kyle was sending me some pictures from his place in Fall City, and there's just power lines down everywhere. There's trees blocking the road. It's total madness. Living in Seattle, you wouldn't know any of this was happening. It's just completely normal, barely any trees down, couple of, extra leaves, and that's about it. You go over to the east side, and it's just a completely different world over there. So Seahawks doing what they can, and they got a couple of huge games coming up. Obviously, 2 of 3 will be against Arizona. Geno knows they're big.
These games all of them are going to feel like playoff games. The NFL is always a close league, and there's always a lot of one-score games. And so, like I said, when you got the ball at the end and you got a chance to close it out, that's your moment to go and take it. And as an offense, as a quarterback, we thrive in those moments. We appreciate them. I love them. I enjoy them. And, we just got to look forward to the next one.
Well, he certainly stepped up in the one on Sunday, and my guess is the one this week will probably come down to the last couple drives as well. That's life in the NFL, especially with teams not separated by a whole lot.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Baseball, not a real surprise in the MVP voting. Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani, both unanimous winners. Bobby Witt, unanimous choice for second place in the American League. By the way, Juan Soto was third. So after the conversation we had yesterday about the Yankees and Dodgers not having anybody in the top 10 for Cy Young Award voting, the Yankees had 1 and 3. And where did Mookie finish when it was he finish in the top 10? I know the Dodgers had at least one. I think they had multiple guys in the top 10 for MVP as well. Cal Raleigh got a couple of votes in the 7, 8, 9 range, but that was not the biggest Cal news of the day. Kylie McDaniel reports he switched his representation from Scott Boras to Excel Sports Management. Now, generally, we don't spend a lot of time talking about who represents players and when they switch their agency from one to another, but I don't know exactly what this means. It doesn't mean anything bad. I know that. Given the less than rosy relationship that exists between Scott Boras and the Mariners, the fact that Cal is no longer working with Boras seems like great news. I don't know if this means he's doing it in order to get a deal signed here, and if maybe he's now open to some sort of an extension and wanted to do it with somebody other than Scott Boras. But at the very least, it makes that possibility a lot more likely than it was yesterday morning when I thought the chances of that were essentially zero. Cal Raleigh plus Scott Boras plus the Mariners equals eventually going to free agency. Cal Raleigh plus Excel Sports Management plus the Mariners means, I don't know. We'll see what happens here over the course of the next year or two, and maybe they are able to get something done to keep the guy here long term. And if they do, maybe that leads to a bit of a domino effect. Maybe that helps entice somebody like Logan Gilbert or whomever else to try to stay here long term as well. So it certainly isn't bad news. It may be no news, but hopefully it's some good news.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Oh, just a beautiful snow game last night in Cleveland. Came right down to the wire. Jameis Winston and the Browns outlasting Russell Wilson and the Steelers. Nick Chubb with the game winner.
From the gun. Hands it off. To the end zone goes Chubb. Touchdown Browns.
Just unbelievable visuals and, you know, guys dropping balls and falling down and then making some incredible catches in the snow as well. Just a blast to watch. I thought Russ played reasonably well, but unfortunately for him, just didn't end the way he wanted it to. Let's see. No easy games for the other teams in the division this weekend. San Francisco's going to try to bounce back, but they got to do it in Green Bay. Not an easy game for them. Rams host the Red Hot Eagles, so at least they'll be at home. But the Eagles have been playing really well recently, so I wouldn't say the Rams necessarily have a great shot in that one. So anyway, those are probably the three best games of the weekend. Seriously. Seahawks, Cardinals, Eagles, Rams, and Niners, Packers are the only...
Harbaugh Bowl's going to be good, too.
Huh?
Harbaugh Bowl's going to be good, too.
And yeah, and that one. Those are, other than the Harbaugh Bowl, those are the only games that feature both teams at or above 500. Isn't that crazy? And the Harbaugh Bowl's Monday? Is that Monday night?
Let's
I think that's Monday Night Football.
Yes, you're right.
So on Sunday, the three NFC West games, are the only games that feature teams where both are at 500 or above. Everything else is either two bad teams or one good team against a bad one. So next best matchup, I guess, is probably Detroit-Indy. Indy's just below 500. Detroit's fun to watch. We can watch our guy Anthony Richardson. That's about it. All right, there you go. That's everything you need to know. Quarter past every hour here on the Brock and Salk Show. Kraken also on the road. They're going to Los Angeles to play the Kings. The Cal Raleigh news, again, we used to play this game on the show, Good News, Bad News, No News, where we'd throw a news story out there and try to determine whether it was good, bad, or indifferent. This one is either good or indifferent. It's not bad news. That's easy. I would love to come in here and be like, this is great news. Cal's doing this because he really wants to stay in Seattle, and Boras isn't the right guy, and Boras always wants everybody to get to free agency, and he's got a bad relationship with the Mariners, so this is a great opportunity. That would be awesome. I hope that's the case. That would be really cool, but I don't know that I could sit here and tell you that with any degree of confidence today. I could tell you it's a possibility. Maybe that's why this happened. Maybe this has something to do with, a relationship that we know nothing about. As you were pointing out, Lyle, he's not the only guy maybe a little frustrated with Scott Boras these days. That was a little hint for you to come in and tell me more about what you think.
Look at how he basically got cooked last offseason. He way overplayed his hand. The league wouldn't give him the money he wants, and then couldn't get any of his guys paid. And guys like Jordan Montgomery, one, dropped him, and two, came out and said, well, Boras messed up my negotiations just publicly to the media. So, yeah, a lot of people aren't happy with him.
Yeah, and sometimes that happens with a big agency like Scott Boras, where he feels like guys tend to feel like he's focused on, too many people and not just on them. So it may be that. It may just be an anti-Boris thing. It may be a relationship thing. Who the heck knows? Maybe somebody who he liked in Boris's agency ended up going to Excel and he ended up going with who? I don't know. But if the chances of Cal signing a deal with the Mariners yesterday was essentially zero, it's something more than zero today. I don't know how much more than zero, but it's more certainly than it was yesterday. All right. We'll talk a little bit more baseball coming up in 20 minutes. I've tasked Lyle with leading some baseball conversations, so we'll dig into it in about 20 minutes. Before we do that, would you guys have any interest in a completely insane take that seems to be making the rounds thanks to one of our good friends? Stick around and you'll hear it next on Brock and Salk.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
John Morosi is here.
I don't believe that I would trade a Bryce Miller for a Wilyer Abreu. I'm a big Abreu fan, but pitching is so precious that he doesn't quite rise to that level, in my mind yet, of what you would have to acquire to give up someone like a Miller. Now, if it's a bigger trade than that, if they're giving additional talent, then maybe you open up that conversation. So certainly this story is one to watch as the weeks move forward, as we get a little bit closer to the winter meetings in Dallas next month.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
Well, what other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Don't fall, just call Seattle Holiday Lights. We'll hang them up, we'll take them down, we'll do it right. So call Seattle Holiday Lights. Seattle Holiday Lights. Visit SeattleHolidayLights.com.
Are you putting off your new kitchen plans? Why wait? Hi, Chad Cicchini, owner of Heritage Homecraft. Call today for a free in-home estimate. Years of experience, thousands of happy customers. Heritage Homecraft, 425-485-1600 or heritagehomecraft.com.
Guys, your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, weight, and even ED. Schedule your free testosterone level check with the team at Revive Men's Health Seattle. Text the word BOOST, that's BOOST, to 65555 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Message and data rates apply. Message frequency varies. Text help for help and stop to cancel. ReviveMen'sHealth.com/privacy policy for how to opt in. Info will be used, and ReviveMen'sHealth.com/terms of use for terms of service.
FX presents American Sports Story. Aaron Hernandez.
Football is all I got. Everything's okay when I'm playing ball.
You can't make mistakes, Aaron. People are watching you. From executive producer Ryan Murphy.
Is there something that you want to tell me?
You don't know what kind of thoughts I have.
FX's American Sports Story. Aaron Hernandez. All new Tuesdays on FX. Stream on Hulu.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak high. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things. People. Love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
An airliner heads for Alaska with 101 passengers and crew. Then, somewhere over the Gulf of Alaska, Flight 293 slams into the icy waters below.
Even if all four engines quit, it just doesn't fall out of the sky.
No bodies were recovered. Loved ones had no closure and were left to wonder.
What happened to Flight 293?
Unsolved Histories, What Happened to Flight 293 is available now, wherever you get your podcasts.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
Your new beginning starts now.
D.R. Horton has new construction homes available throughout the greater Seattle area. With spacious floor plans, flexible living spaces, and home technology packages, you can enjoy more cozy moments and sweet memories in your beautiful new home. With new home communities opening throughout the Seattle area, D.R. Horton has the ideal home for you. Visit drhorton.com to learn more. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
Matt Coker here from West Coast Men's Health. Guys, if you're taking Viagra or any other pill for ED, I want you to ask yourself this question. Do I want to continue to do this for the rest of my life? If you're like most men, the answer is no. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we can restore blood flow naturally without pumping your body full of chemicals like you've been doing. Guys, you need to come in today and fix this problem now. Why are you putting this off? Viagra's not going to magically start working next week, and you don't want to use shots or go under the knife. Call us today and speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. Change your life today like the thousands of men who already have. If you're tired of dealing with ED or Peyronie's disease, then call West Coast Men's Health.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Are you constantly dealing with a runny nose, nasal congestion, or stuffiness? Always having to clear your throat or coughing? I'm Dr. Ryan Stern with the Stern Sinus Center. Rhine Air is a simple, non-invasive procedure that can significantly reduce your symptoms. This long-lasting treatment is available here in my office. In a clinical study, 88% of Rhine Air patients experience a significant reduction in their symptoms. We're proud the Stern Sinus Center was recently named a nationwide center of excellence. Schedule your appointment in Auburn or Federal Way or go to sternsinus.com.
Brock and Salk's Rewind is presented by Toyota of Kirkland.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Oh, G. Scott's here.
Come on now. What's happening, my people? What's good? I heard it, man. Look, right now I got people going at me on social media.
For what?
I just got off the phone with his dad. His dad said, "Man, you really saying that?" You know what I mean? And I don't know, Brock, you want to say something to me?
What? On which take? Where do we want to go?
I mean, it's a whole lot of
takes. I mean, do we want to start personal or professional? Which way we want to go? I mean, one was a personal shot.
Let's go personal. Y'all, if y'all got the sound of that.
You want to start personal?
I mean, one of them's like, man, we spent a lot of time building a bridge back, right?
Yeah.
Bridge had been, we thought maybe napalm.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we build that bridge back, and then you got to just like,
here's G.
Put my name on it next time.
Here's G.
Say my name.
Here's G talking trash.
I'm tired of these broadcasts with no seasoning. You understand me? It's boring.
Basic.
That's what's happening right now. They're boring. And so like C's just said, when you bring in like the Mike Robs or the Mike Bennett's, I know that's local stuff, right? They did the preseason and stuff like that. But give me the game from a defensive line view. Give me the game from a DB view. I'm tired of quarterbacks.
Wow.
It's not that I don't like quarterbacks, but there's other parts to the game that them dudes don't know. You see what I'm saying?
Wow.
Talking trash about Brock?
Wow.
Is that what this is?
Tired of quarterbacks.
Are you using your preacher voice to talk trash about Brock?
I'm just tired.
What's up with that?
Of quarterbacks. Can I get a hallelujah?
Why do you go preacher voice to make fun of Brock like that?
Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
A little bit,
If you're listening right now, aren't you tired of it's like just mayonnaise on a bologna sandwich? Can I get something different? I'm sick and tired of the quarterback. Well, what do you think? Well, you get XYZ. Oh, he's going to do this on through and three. Shut up.
Man,
Give me something else. I'm so sick and tired. You quarterbacks on air are like the damn green bean casserole at Thanksgiving.
Wow.
Get that unseasoned stuff out of here.
Wow, interesting. I think Jonathan Vilma was a linebacker. I think Schlereth was an offensive guard. I think Adam Archuleta was a safety. I think McCorder was a corner.
Chris Collinsworth was a wide receiver.
Charles Davis was a DB. Like, really? It just so happens that the number ones of ones happen to be quarterbacks because maybe they got to see the entirety of the game.
Greg Olson was a tight end.
Yeah, I mean, got tight ends, got receivers, got linebackers, got corners, got running backs. What do you want, G?
I'll tell you this.
Don't confront you with facts.
I tell
What you want? What you want?
Let me just talk specifically about you.
They tried to keep Talib. They tried that. That was like a one and done.
Hey, what happened to Akeem Talib?
Wow. That was a lot of seasoning. It was over seasoned.
There's so much seasoning out there. People kept sneezing.
Even Gus Johnson's like, oh, hell no. I ain't doing that again. Even Gus.
Yeah. That was a bit much.
Oh, man. Boy, I tell you. Hey, so anyways, I'm tired of the quarterbacks. But Brock, before we get off this topic, I want to say you're good at what you do, bro.
That's nice.
I'm not exaggerating. I've said that before. I'll say it again. You're one of the best.
Now, I don't know how much that compliment is worth when you hear this next take. You may have to be like, I mean, I appreciate the compliment, but what other crazy things are going to come out of your mouth next? Here is G, also from the Reset podcast and video on YouTube, talking about his guy Jackson Smith and Jigba, who we all love. But
I said on the show that JSN was one of the best wide receivers in the league. I am now changing that stance, and I want to be cool, calm, and collected when I say this. JSN is the best damn wide receiver in the league. That's right. The last 2 games, my man has 17 receptions, 290 yards receivers, 2 tugs. Come on now.
Come on, man. I love you.
G, you told
really
us you stopped drinking, right? You stopped drinking?
Yes.
G.
Yes.
G.
Hey.
G.
Y'all disagree with me?
Well, yeah. I think everyone disagrees with you. I think Jackson disagrees with you.
I think Jackson's dad is like, G,
I think you're
take it down a notch.
I think you're doing him a disservice because he's an excellent wide receiver, and you're putting people in a position where they have to show that he's not the best, which stinks because he's playing great. Yeah. But when you exaggerate to that point, now we all have to be like, hold on, man. What about Justin Jefferson? What about, Jamar Chase? We got to go through all of these other people.
Why y'all what about? That's the problem. A lot of times in life, people always want to what about?
This is not one of those times.
I want to be great. Well, what about this? And you were born with a club foot, and you were born with a lisp, and you were born dyslexia.
What are you talking
all
about?
Kinds of adversity. I'm telling you, I said it with my chest. JSN is the best wide receiver in the NFL.
What are
He's
you
got the Mamba mentality, and you guys have seen it. You're starting to see it.
No.
Hey, Jackson Smith and Jigba is like the field of dreams. If you build it, they will come. And that's what JSN is on right now.
There's a lot of analogies in that explanation.
I'm trying to go back to the list. Come on, dyslexia and the club foot.
I'm just saying.
You're not just saying.
Have you guys watched The Penguin yet?
Huh?
The Penguin?
I didn't like it. I didn't like it.
Is
it good?
I don't know. I didn't like it.
It's really good.
You like
What
it?
a great setup.
Okay.
Yeah.
So JSN the last 2 weeks.
That might be the worst take I've ever heard.
JSN. Hold on. JSN the last 2 weeks.
Terrible takes.
JSN the last 2 weeks has been one of, if not the best receiver in the NFL.
Thank you.
The last 2 weeks,
he's been great.
He's been one of, if not the best, the last 2 weeks.
Come on.
But 2 weeks does not make a career nor a season.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Because
Tell that to Scott Mitchell.
Look. Do you know how many
Tell
of
that
these?
to Rob Johnson.
Do you know how many of these GMs? You know how many of these scouts in the NFL look at one good college game that somebody plays and they draft them top 5, they draft them top 10? How come y'all don't say nothing about their terrible takes? I'm giving a take.
Well, because you're here in front of us.
Yeah.
Harrison Spokane says those cubic zirconia on your beanie have seeped into your brain.
Gee, you're talking about one good game. Didn't JSN have 300 yards in a Rose Bowl and that elevated his stock?
Go look him up in high school.
He's a really good player.
Hold on, did you just try to say that JSN only had a 300-yard game?
No, but you're talking about one good game that certain guys have, and that game, he was already good, but that got him on the map a little bit.
No. He's been on the map a lot of bit. Go back to his high school days. Go back to what he did at Ohio State. He's the best of the game.
No, he's not. You don't even mean that. Gee, you change your opinion on things more than I've ever met. You know what you are? I was thinking about G a little bit. you got kind of this machine gun approach, right? Where you come in and you scatter off a whole bunch of hot takes, and then when one of them hits, I told you. You say, you're the guy who walks into a crowded bar, hits on every single girl there. Most of them say no. One of them says yes, and as you're leaving with her, you turn around and all the other girls, you're like, see what you're missing?
You're not wrong.
I know I'm not wrong. I've got that one perfectly accurate.
Here's what I want to see, G, out of JSN the next 7 weeks. Because the two guys I kind of compare him to, and I think he's got certainly a higher profile. But dude out of Boise State, Khalil Shakir, he is nice in Buffalo. Real nice. And in fact, he's catching 85% of his targets. 55 of 65. But the guy that I think is the comp, and DJ has talked about this on Wednesdays, is Amon-Ra St. Brown. Where's Amon-Ra St. Brown? He's one of the best receivers in the league. Because you know what he's catching? 83% of his targets. Right? And I think Gino's a pretty accurate quarterback. That number of 69% right now, 60 of 86 targets to JSN, that's got to get closer to 80. Like if that number gets closer to 80, look out. I mean, you're looking at 1,200, 1,300 yards. You're looking at 100 receptions. You're looking at maybe 6-7 touchdowns. And then you're like, hey, man, you're one of the 10 best receivers in the game. But the best? The best?
Yeah. You heard what I said.
CG, you just celebrated your 10-year anniversary yesterday on the air.
10 years. Gave a shout out to Mike Salk in front of the people.
If you want to make it another 37 years like Dave Ross,
yeah.
I don't know whether takes like this are going to help. And don't double down on it. How about Dave Ross? Dave Ross announces retirement today on our sister station, 97.3 KIRO News Radio. Dave has hosted the morning news for the last however many years. He's had other shows, different day parts, etc. Dave Ross is retiring here at the end of the year after 47 years on the air on KIRO. That is a remarkable achievement in this business, in this building, and just to get to know Dave over the course of the last 16 that Brock and I have been here, 10 or so that you've been here, G. He's a pretty special person, an incredible broadcaster.
Yeah. Can I, first of all, dope. Dave Ross is a legend. I call him the Godfather around here. 47 years in this game. That's a long time. As for the type of person I am on radio, just celebrated 10 years in this game, I'll give you 3 things that were said to me that stick out to me. Number 1, Brock Hewitt stood there on the corner right there on Howe Street in Eastlake, and he basically said, hey, just so you know, there's thousands upon thousands of people that will pay money to do what you're doing. Make sure you appreciate it. 2, there was Mike Salk. Mike Salk would tell me in the beginning of this thing, don't worry about being right. You don't have to worry about being right, right? Who's right 100% of the time? Nobody. And the third thing,
I might need to edit that one after today.
and the third thing was I got to give props to Dave Grosby. Hey, G, no matter what, have an opinion.
Oh, and don't learn how to do any of the technical stuff, or they'll make you do more of it. That's another Groz special.
Yeah. So there's that. So whether or not I make it another 10, 15, 20 years, either way, I'm going down. And my one opinion that I'm going to die on is JSN.
No, it isn't.
No, it's not. Yes.
No, it isn't.
Yes.
No, it's not.
But let me ask you this, Jay. Let me ask you this.
I know
though.
that's not true.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Because you got pretty good eyes and optics when it comes to receivers. You've been watching that game for a long time.
Yep.
What has happened the last 2 weeks with JSM? Because the last 2 weeks, one of them in DK's absence. DK returned this week. Nothing changed. From just a purely wide receiver where you do have a lot of expertise and a lot of background. What's gone on the last 2 weeks?
Do you know how many people right now are in a relationship with the second person that they thought that they'd be with? And what I mean by that is look, you were dating this one person or you were with this one person, but all of a sudden that one person kind of fell off. But then you had that one other person, that friend, that somebody in the background that you started to date, and then you guys ended up falling in love. Well, what happened was when DK's absence happened, and Gino started to look at JSN, and JSN looked looked at Gino and they said, maybe we are a match made in heaven. And Gino said, I'm going to come to you. And he came to him against the Rams. And then after the Rams game in San Fran, and y'all saw that last drive when it was third down on those two, that last possession. Who did Gino go to? He went to the person that he knew would have that food in the crock pot. He knew had good credit. He knew had a good job and a steady paycheck. Gino fell in love with JSN. So what you are seeing right now, you are seeing the love match happen between those two and the chemistry. So in Lumen Field this Sunday, watch it happen again.
You crock pot guy?
I mean, I'm not, but she got to be.
My kids asked me about that the other day. They're like, why would anybody want a slow cooker? Don't you want to cook things as fast as possible? I was like, I guess it makes sense. I have to kind of explain the whole thing to them. So, all right, 10 years, man.
10 years in the game, bro.
10 years.
Did you think I'd make it 10 years?
No. Depends when you would have asked. Like that's it's sort of like your opinions on things. It goes up and down and changes day to day.
Last year in October, no way. I thought I was done in about another 2 weeks.
Yeah. And now here you are.
And here I am, man.
37 more.
And I actually,
catch Dave Ross.
The crazy part is I was just telling, I think I was telling Boss Lady this. I told Boss Lady the other day, I love this job more today than I ever have.
Yeah. You remember right at the beginning when you said you would cover up your arms every day when you came in because you didn't want anybody to see your tattoos?
I know.
How's that going?
Yeah. I stopped doing that.
Like 3 days later.
But wait a minute, though. Brock, you didn't have faith in me, bro?
I didn't know you would work the way you'd work. I just didn't know you well enough. And I had no judgment of anything because I've seen a lot of people come and go. Right? We've seen a lot of folks in this business. I've seen a lot of them in TV. I've worked with a lot of them that, I'm going to work. Oh, yeah, I'm competitive. I'm going to work. And then they don't. And if you don't work, then you don't last. And I've also seen really famous people with a big pedigree and a lot of big resume and think they can just show up. I don't have to work. No, you got to work. You got to work. So I just didn't know the work. I didn't know the grind. And you're a worker, man. And that's a huge, aside from the talent. But you don't stick, and you don't stick for 10 years, and you don't overcome some of the things you overcome, and you've overcome without that just kind of work ethic.
G's got to get going because he's got to go.
He's got to go.
Before I go, two things. One, I'm tired of hearing from quarterbacks. Two, JSN is the best wide receiver in the NFL.
So silly. So
bye, G.
But I won't back down.
Goodbye. I appreciate you having an opinion. Kind of. I kind of appreciate it anyway. That was our friend G. Scott, who you can usually hear on our sister station, 97.3 KIRO. News Radio. And yes, a little congratulations to Dave Ross, who is going to be retiring at the end of this year. He is he's a legend, man. Usually, not today, he's out today, but usually when I do the show in the morning, I look right outside. There's a little window into the KIRO newsroom, and I can see Dave typing away, working away, headphones on, just kind of doing his thing. And he's one of the guys that paved the way here in this town. So gonna miss Dave at the end of this year when he retires. Yeah, G's crazy. I'm not really going to engage in the JSN thing anymore. As I said a few times during the interview, I like JSN a lot. I think he's a good player. I don't want to start arguing against him being the best player in the league because then I have to start talking ill of a guy that I think is really good. I think he's great. I don't think he's the best. Nobody thinks he's the best wide receiver in the league. Nobody thinks that.
You just need more of a body of work. He's had 2 really good games. He could very well become the best receiver in the league, but it's a little early for the proclamation.
It's why Jeremy Lin isn't in the Basketball Hall of Fame. You have to do it for more than a couple of weeks in order for it to be real, but whatever. JSN's a great player. Hopefully it continues again this week. His breakout has been really fun to watch here over the last couple of weeks. I actually even have a little Ryan Grubb sound about him from yesterday.
I don't think there's ever been a game where I would have been worried about, throwing the ball to Jax in a really big moment. I think that's exactly who he is. I think we're really blessed to have some, couple veteran guys that obviously have made a lot of those plays. And then Jax is a guy that certainly is capable of making that kind of play at any moment. So just really excited for him. He's really starting to show what we know he is.
All right. So hopefully that continues and Jackson continues his little breakout turn here for the Seahawks because it does. It makes them better. And I will admit, it does sort of open things up next offseason if you want to have another conversation about whether or not they can afford to trade one of their other wide receivers. All right, Lyle, let's talk a little baseball. We got a few minutes here before Greg Bishop comes in, and Greg will be here for the whole 7 a.m. hour. Love when Greg comes in, just talking a little of everything with him. Sports Illustrated columnist. He always has incredible stories, so he's going to come hang out for about an hour or so. What's on your mind? It's hot stove season. What's on your mind?
Honestly, what leads it off is we need more hot stove. We need more moves, but we're not going to sit here for minutes on end talking about how
it's
there's
too
no
early.
moves.
It's not even Thanksgiving yet. I mean, generally, it's that time between Thanksgiving and New Year's where you'll really feel this thing start to heat up.
Yeah, the winter meeting starting is usually when things really get going. I guess I'm just itching for it. But if you want to take this from a Mariners narrative, we've talked a lot about the bats they could trade for, the bats they could sign for good reason, and they need to.
Mm-hmm.
Should we be talking more about them acquiring relievers?
Yes. Yeah, I think we probably should. You'll probably have a better sense as to what relievers are out there that might be available. I know there's some dudes who could be. I mean, look, how many guys in that pen do you trust right now?
Munoz. And after that,
it gets dicey fast, right?
I mean, you trust Brash once he comes back. You hope Santos is healthy. But, yeah, it's a little dicey. I like Colin Snyder, but to ask him to throw in high leverage again next
I
year,
thought that was, it's possible Colin Snyder was real. It's possible that he turns right back into a pumpkin. Jackson Kowar I like, but it sounds like he's not going to be ready right away. So you're kind of waiting on him.
Troy Taylor.
Maybe, right? I mean, maybe Troy Taylor is real. Like, I do like the idea of developing some dudes like that. But as we all know, there's no more up and down position than relievers. These guys have great years and bad years. Mm-hmm. And unless you've got one of the great ones, you have no freaking idea what you're going to get from them from year to year.
So what if you go get one of the great ones?
All right, so who's out there? What great ones can I go get? And by the way, even before you talk about going out to get a great one, I think you got to look at the guys on your team and figure out if there's anybody there that might be edging towards a cliff. Mm-hmm. And the one guy on that roster that does scare me a little bit is Munoz. Mm-hmm. Some of the little bumps and bruises, injuries, a lot of use over the last couple of years, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know. If there's one guy that makes me just a little nervous, it's Andres Munoz. And if they did decide to make a deal this offseason and sort of, retool that bullpen, dealing away Munoz wouldn't trouble me that much. I wouldn't be terrified if they dealt him away.
Well, even if that were to happen, especially if that were to happen, then you need another high leverage reliever.
For sure.
Which brings me to a couple of the guys that we're going to look at.
All right,
here.
who are we looking at?
Yeah, so there's a lot of relievers out there you could throw out there, but if we're going to talk about the elite guys, there's two. Devin Williams of the Brewers.
Yep.
Ryan Helsley of the Cardinals.
All right, let's start with why are they trading Devin Williams?
Because the Brewers don't want to pay guys. They don't want to pay relievers. It's just like how they traded Josh Hader a couple years ago. They decided once he got expensive, they're going to deal him away.
Okay. And he's what, a couple of years into arbitration?
Well, so he only has a year left to control, and it's the same thing with Helsley of the Cardinals. Those guys are similar. 1 year control, high-end relievers, but two of the best relievers in Major League Baseball.
What do you have to give up for a high-leverage reliever with only 1 year of control?
I don't think it'd be that much.
Probably not that much, right?
Which is why I'm interested in this. You're not giving away a Colt Emerson or a Felnine Celestine or anybody like that.
Are you giving away a Troy Taylor, though?
Depends. Could be on the table. Somebody like that, or maybe it's somebody in the middle of your prospect system, a bat, an arm, etc. But yeah, I don't think it would cost a ton to go out and get Devin Williams, especially because he's going to be fairly expensive. And the reason you don't hear a lot of this from the Mariners camp a lot of the time is they don't usually go out and do things like this. They don't go out and trade for established relievers, especially established relievers that make a lot of money. They like to just get guys off the street.
Well, and there's something to that, right? I mean, if you look at baseball, there's so many guys. What's weird about the Mariners system is as good as it is and as many starting pitchers as they've turned out here in the last 4 years, it's odd that they don't have a bunch of flame-throwing relievers like ready to hit the big leagues like everybody else seems to. Mm-hmm. Doesn't that seem a little odd? For all of the real positives, and there are a lot of them in this system, you would think they'd have like 5 Troy Taylors. Mm-hmm. And it's sort of odd to me that they don't.
Which is kind of what they did in this past draft because they used so much money on their first 2 picks.
Mm-hmm.
Because they used so much money on those first 2 picks of theirs, they ended up drafting a lot of relievers that could move fast and could get to the big leagues in a shorter amount of time. So maybe they will here soon enough. But yeah, look, the Mariners bullpen in 24 was not as good as it was in 21, 22, and 23. So now you have to look for ways to get it better, and this is an idea.
We got about 30 seconds here just because there's some rumors floating around yesterday. Carlos Santana or Justin Turner, right? The last two adults in the room to sort of first base DH for these Mariners. You get your choice. You want Turner back? You want Carlos Santana back?
I liked what Turner did last year. I'm going to go with Turner.
Yeah? Santana's coming off technically the better year, right? Didn't he have an awesome year in Cleveland?
That's true, and he's a tad bit younger. So, look, I'm not up in arms either way. Either one would be great. But you know what? I know you and I have talked about this a bit, Salk. I don't think it's any coincidence that the offense turned around when Justin Turner got here last year. I think he helped a lot.
I think he did, and you know, I think he sort of played a bit of a assistant hitting coach type of role. It wasn't just Edgar. I think he was a big part of that as well. So either of those guys would work. I mean, honestly, I think both of them have a real sense of how to play the game, how to be an adult, how to reach some of the folks around them. I don't think you can afford to have both on your team, not from a money standpoint, but just from an age standpoint. I don't think you need both those guys on one roster. But I'd take either one of them, man. I think both guys would serve very similar purposes, and whichever way they decide to go would be just fine with me. All right. Greg Bishop is here, our buddy from Sports Illustrated. He's been working on a ton of cool stuff, including something, Lyle, that I know you're going to like because it's one of your favorite players. It's coming up. It's Brock and Salk. Seattle Sports on 710.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
Let's get it. Arizona Cardinals. What's up?
Bump, what have you learned about the Cardinals this week?
They can run the football. Kyler Murray is elusive, one of the top 5 runners in the game when it comes to the quarterback position. They are a good football team. Watching film, I will continue to watch film all the way up until game day. And the more film I watch, the more I start to believe. Everyone seems like they are where they are supposed to be. And at this level, that is half the battle because you have some ballers out there. So, no, the Cardinals are real.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Want to listen to Seattle Sports on your smart speaker?
Hey, smart speaker, play Seattle Sports.
This message is powered by the EQC Sportsbook at Emerald Queen Casino. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
Planning to propose this holiday? Shane Company is ready to help you find your dream engagement ring. We handpick the most beautiful diamonds and colorful gemstones in all shapes and sizes. So when you walk in the door, you can trust your rock is in stock. At Shane Company, we've always sourced directly, cut out the middleman, and pass the savings on to you. We work with your budget, not against it. We'll also protect your ring for life with our free unmatched lifetime warranty. Come see us at shaneco.com and in-store. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Don't fall, just call Seattle Holiday Lights. We'll hang them up, we'll take them down, we'll do it right. So call Seattle Holiday Lights. Seattle Holiday Lights. Visit SeattleHolidayLights.com.
Hi, I'm Scott Rucka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. With rising interest rates and banks and credit unions continuing to tighten, the demand for our private portfolio loans has never been stronger. Therefore, for a limited time only, Legacy's Opportunity Fund is paying 7% interest on short-term cash with just a 90-day commitment and a 30-day notice to withdraw. It's the perfect place to park your short-term cash, and at 7%, I would challenge you to find a better short-term opportunity in the marketplace today. Don't let your short-term cash sit in a savings or money market account when you can get 7% with Legacy's Opportunity Fund and join the over 800 local investors with over $200 million invested.
Act now to receive Legacy's Opportunity Fund one-time offer of 7% on short-term cash. Visit Legacy Group Capital at LegacyG.com. That's LegacyG.com. Legacy Family of Funds investments are available to accredited investors only. 7% APR is current rate for the Legacy Group Capital Opportunity Fund. Terms and conditions at LegacyG.com.
If you worked in aircraft manufacturing or aircraft painting at Boeing, semiconductor or printed circuit board manufacturing, or other industries where hazardous chemicals or solvents were used, your children may be entitled to legal damages. Birth defects have been linked to toxic chemicals and solvents used in these industries. If your child was born with brain or spinal cord damage, organ or limb deformities, blindness, cerebral palsy, genetic damage, or other issues, and you're a past or present aircraft manufacturing or painting, semiconductor or circuit board worker, contact Weinstein Cajano now, toll free at 1 1-866-99-TOXIC. Your children may be entitled to legal damages. If you are a past or present worker in aircraft manufacturing or aircraft painting at Boeing, semiconductor or printed circuit board manufacturing, or other industry worker, and your child has a birth defect, call toll-free 1-866-99-TOXIC. Your call is confidential. 1-866-998-6942. That's 1-866-99-TOXIC. Message authorized by Weinstein Cajano, 600 University Street, Suite 1620, Seattle, Washington.
At 65 years old, Brian has a rather demanding hobby.
My biggest passion is snow skiing, and I ski between 70 and 80 days per year. And I ski instruct at a private resort in Montana.
Needless to say, that can be a bit tough on the joints.
When this knee started to bother me, I thought I'm doomed.
That's when Brian decided to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
If I did yard work or skied a few days in a row, I was fighting swelling and pain and no sleep and all sorts of problems, and that has absolutely gone away.
So are you back on the slopes?
I mean, I had a 14-day stretch with clients where I skied every day and I had no problem. It was fine. It was just like, I felt like new.
So I'm guessing you would recommend this to others.
Oh, I already have. I've told everyone that'll listen.
Whether it's a shoulder, hip, or knee, before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
It's really, truly a miracle.
At the Home Depot, we know Saturdays are for college football. That's why we have everything you need to never miss a play, like Bear Dynasty interior paint, their most durable one-coat hide paint ever. From a team color statement wall to a fan cave, complete with a mural honoring Nick Saban's 17-year dynasty.
Hey, I like that idea.
Nothing beats Bear Dynasty interior paint. It's everything you need all in one can.
Defend your game time with Bear and the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Valid only when tended to colors from the Bear Dynasty and Marquee Interior One-Coat Hide Color Collection.
This Thanksgiving at Total Wine & More, find bourbons and Cabernets that you adore. Our helpful guides are so friendly and nice, so many bottles to try at the lowest price. So gather with friends as you sit down to eat, grateful for all who made Thanksgiving complete.
With curbside pickup and delivery available and the lowest prices for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Give me a freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Heward and Matt Marcus. Sorry about just Mike.
Heward, not exactly Joe Cap there in the pocket.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
All right, it's mostly a Football Friday, of course, which is powered by the Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. But there's also some other fun stuff going on in the world. A week ago today, we were talking all about the Tyson fight and how excited I was to see Tyson get back in the ring again, and ended up watching with my two daughters, which was a blast, and they got super into it, and the whole deal was super fun. And, you know, start texting everybody I know who likes boxing, which is like two people. I don't know a ton of people who love boxing. It's like Bob Stelton, my buddy Steve, who's now a judge in Santa Barbara, and Greg Bishop from Sports Illustrated. It's like the three people I know who like and know anything about boxing. And so I was texting a bunch with Greg. I was like, dude, you got to come in. So here's Greg Bishop from Sports Illustrated. What's up, dude?
Feel like I'm home again.
Yeah.
I should say I have a boxing crew out here. Total number of members, three. Including me.
Yeah, there's not like a ton of people super obsessed with boxing, but the people who are into it are really into it because you have to be, right? It's the only way to follow it, to like know when everything is going to be on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's part of the current sports media landscape in that, you know, it's very fragmented. It's always changing. And then you throw in the typical boxing stuff. You know, nobody can make sense of the belts. Even now, as you saw the other night, judging is still erratic. And it's really a sport that, you know, can't help but stay in its own way.
And yet, I came in on Monday and was like, dude, that was a blast. And Brock was crushing me. He was like, no, it was stupid. It was lame. Nobody liked it. And I was like, I don't know, man. I liked it. I got a chance to see Tyson enter the ring one more time. There was a nostalgic element of that, not that different from the LA West Coast rap Super Bowl halftime show that they did a couple years ago. I got to show it to my kids, and they got to like go back and watch all the old Tyson clips from when he was awesome. And then my two daughters, 10 and 12, especially my 12-year-old, who's never watched a second of boxing in her life, watched the undercard and is like, when can we watch more boxing? Like, she's super into it now. What was your big takeaway from the whole night?
I love that, in part because you got to watch Amanda Serrano and
She was
Katie
awesome.
Taylor. I mean, those are two of the best female fighters in the history of women's boxing, which isn't that long, but, that was an insane fight. In an overall sense, I'm very conflicted about it, I think. I don't mind the goofy fights, and I don't even mind Jake Paul and his influence on the sport, which I think has been better and bigger than people will give him credit for. Now, am I in the crowd that would love to see him get just, rocked in the face? Yeah, absolutely.
Isn't that everybody?
Card-carrying member.
Yeah.
My issue is more with the framework of these things. I don't think you can count more than one or two fights Jake's had as real professional fights. I think they would never be sanctioned if they weren't goofy. And I don't think you could bill Tyson the way that, and I was part of the promotion in some outside freelance work respects. And billing Tyson as anything other than a 58-year-old man, I think, is gross negligence on the part of people who are telling the story. And to me, it's just, let's call it what it is. Jake Paul got a lot better at boxing in the last 5 or 6 years. He brought a trend to the sport and eyeballs to the sport, especially in the case of Amanda Serrano, that I think is pretty laudable. He's given more money to fighters than any Harvard-educated promoter who's taken that money for themselves over the course of time ever would. I think there's a lot of things to like about it. And I also think that Tyson is, 58 years old. I put on BioFreeze this morning for a radio interview. And so I think you knew exactly what was going to happen when that fight was announced.
Was it legit, or did Tyson pull his punches?
I think that Mike figured out pretty early that he couldn't knock Jake out. And then he played it safe.
Yeah.
And when
his defense still looked pretty good.
Yeah, you look at his leg, he's got that huge brace on it. It looked like a grandfather and like a grandson, getting into a scrap at Thanksgiving, And in some ways, it was cool to watch Tyson walk down. And
that was cool. Come on.
Yeah.
That was cool. You know why it was cool? Just from, again, an outsider. It's not like I watched a ton of boxing. There is something about, it reminded me of the Peter McNeely fight, probably more than anything else. When McNeely came out and he was bouncing around, he was talking about he was going to wrap Tyson in his cocoon of horror and all that. And I thought Jake Paul, right, he comes out with the car and the flash and all of that. And if you remember the McNeely fight, Tyson coming out to Red Man, time for some action, and he's just wearing the towel over his neck. And he just looks so focused. And you're like, oh, he might kill this guy in the ring. It was night and day, flash versus substance. And that's what this looked like. Even though Tyson's 58 and obviously couldn't back it up after that, seeing the serious expression, the way he would come out like that one more time, I don't know. I just dug that element of it, and I think my kids kind of did too, which was cool.
And see, I love that that's your takeaway, because to me, I always say this, I've covered every major sporting event you can cover, all the tennis Grand Slams, all the golf majors, Olympics, Final Four, Super Bowl. And when people ask me, what is the best, singular moment of your job, to me, it is the entrances before a big fight. And I'm talking about Manny Pacquiao coming down to Thunderstruck, Floyd Mayweather in some crazy outfit, Deontay Wilder wearing apparently too heavy of a costume to actually fight afterward. And I'm glad that you were able to see Tyson do that again, because to me, he was really at the start of when these became WWE, style entrances. And so I thought all that was great. And while I thought it was sad to watch Tyson move around as a 58-year-old, I'm also thinking, man, this is a guy that gets messed with everywhere he goes. You saw the thing on the plane.
Yeah.
At least he made a ton of money, this time with somebody who was agitating him. And there was a small chance that he would do what the world wants and, knock Jake Paul flat on his keister.
How sad is it, though, that he didn't really throw a punch or two? Wouldn't you have loved to have seen one great Tyson uppercut and see if he could have connected? And if he did, with those gloves, could he have even done damage?
Well, that's part of it. I mean, all of the framework around Jake Paul ignores all these parameters that are put into every fight. It's almost like the directive is find somebody half my size, twice my age, and then we're going to say that it's a pro boxing match. And so the risk for Tyson, if he did try to unleash, is getting knocked out by Jake Paul, which, in some ways would be understandable, and in some ways would be like the most embarrassing thing that can happen to a human being, like in the world.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But he was like stumbling. I mean, I was worried Tyson was going to fall over. That was sort of my biggest concern while I was watching. So let me ask you this, and then we'll move on from boxing. I got a ton of other stuff I want to talk to you about. A lot of football stuff today. So take my girls. They watched that fight. And Jake Paul and Mike Tyson bring all the eyeballs to the undercard. And the undercard was entertaining, not just the fight, the co-headline, but even some of the other undercard fights I thought were reasonably entertaining. What does she do next? So like Avery wants to go watch more women's boxing. When does she get to see another fight? In like 2 years?
Well, I'm going to have to start texting you now. If we got anybody we can convert, to the boxing
Where do you
fandom.
even go to find that stuff?
Well, I think the main group right now is probably DAZN. They have definitely the most female fighters in the world. You see PBC on Amazon a lot. That's who, the same company that put the production on for Netflix for Paul Tyson. But they are getting more and more fragmented. And then there are some fighters on ESPN, with Top Rank still. You know what? Where I think this is all headed, and I would point you toward a couple of fighters. One of them trains locally. I think David Benavidez in a different era would be a mainstream sports superstar. And he's caught in an era when boxing is doing what people have predicted for more than 30 years, and that's moving in another direction. Now, the last time I interviewed Benavidez, who trains down at a gym in Renton that his father runs, he was saying that he thinks the future is real fights that are even a higher caliber, that more like Serrano Taylor on the undercard with Jake Paul. So then it's all working together.
So you get everything, right? You bring somebody, the idiot to bring all of the eyes there, and then we get exposed to the stuff that we actually need to see.
Yeah.
That was perfect.
Yeah.
If that was the goal of this fight, then they absolutely nailed it, because watching that girl have a second mouth develop above her eye was one of the most disgusting and fascinating things I've ever watched. And she just kept fighting through it because she's a total badass. So
Absolutely.
unbelievable.
And
All right,
she
hold
won.
on. She won.
Well, not technically, but
I know.
she did.
She kind of got jobbed. All right, hang on. We're going to come right back. We'll take a quick break. I'll give you guys like a 2-minute version of everything you need to know, and then we'll spend a whole lot more time the rest of the hour plus with Greg Bishop from Sports Illustrated. We'll talk some football. We'll talk some Seahawks. We'll talk about the one NFL position group that seems to be doing some sort of performance-enhancing drug, because it's the only explanation for how good they are right now. Stick around. It's all coming up on Brock and Salk.
Blue 88 on Brock and Salk.
Let's talk scheme, Brock. What was the biggest schematic change for the Seahawks?
Every day at 7:45.
Under center and get the ball out. And you get under there, and it's like, yeah, man, here's a 3-step, there's a hitch. Yep, there's 3-step, there's a slant. Yep, we're going to get in the gun, we're going to throw speed outs. They got back to some very, very basic stuff. Getting under center for 32, almost a third of the snaps, that's going to help you.
Blue 88, answering 3 football questions as only Brock Heward can.
Paid for by government. Now is the time to fill your vault with Morgan Silver Bars. Grab your piece of America's silver legacy with this special offer. These spectacular shining silver bars featuring a crisp image of the iconic Morgan silver dollar, a legendary coin that has captivated collectors for generations. Americans treasure owning silver bars and coins, putting them away for themselves and their loved ones. Call now to secure 1-ounce silver bars minted in 99.9% pure silver and made in the USA. You'll be glad you did. Hurry, don't miss out on this special deal. Save $10 per silver bar. The more you buy, the more you save. Limit of 25 bars per customer. Call to learn more. Plus, with qualifying orders, you'll receive a free Morgan silver dollar. That's a $59.95 value and free shipping. Call 1-800-222-3967 now to secure your 1-ounce Morgan silver dollar bars. That's 1-800-222-3967.
I don't want to dig up my yard if I don't have to. That's why I hired O'Neill Plumbing. They're Seattle's trenchless plumbing pros. All rooter, all trenchless, always professional. O'Neill Plumbing since 1917.
Hey Seattle, Jaden Schwartz for Techline Roofing. Call Techline Roofing and trust the team I trust. With the strongest warranty in the business, Techline Roofing has you covered. That's TEKLINE roofing.com. Trust Techline.
Make this holiday season extra special in the kitchen of your dreams while saving thousands. Hi, this is Chad Cicchini, owner of Heritage Homecraft. Our solid wood refacing system delivers a luxurious new kitchen way easier and less expensive than a tear out. Heritage Homecraft's specialty is custom cabinet refacing and quartz countertops. Our own craftsmen will reface your existing cabinet boxes with 1/4-inch thick solid hardwood and add new custom-built solid hardwood doors. We can make design changes, add cabinets, install custom features, and top it off with a beautiful quartz countertop, all in about a week. Book now and we'll be able to schedule the installation of your new kitchen before the holidays, and you'll receive an additional 15% up to $3,000 off. Call today and schedule a free in-home consultation where we'll bring a showroom to you. Heritage Homecraft, 425-485-1600, 425-485-1600, or heritagehomecraft.com. That's heritagehomecraft.com.
What do you get when you call Davis Law Group after a life-changing accident? You get an elite team of investigators who fight for you the second you become a client. You get compassionate legal professionals who take pride in helping you get your life back on track. And you get a proven team of trial lawyers who know the Washington court system and have a reputation for achieving excellent results for accident victims and their families. Call Davis Law Group for a free case review today or visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com to learn more. That's Davis Law Group. Better service and even better results.
This year's ratings of the best TVs just got published, and Samsung, LG, and Sony scored the highest. Also, they warned about the poor performance of the bargain brands promoted at some stores. So where can you get the best deal on the top-rated TVs? At the club? Online? Nope. At Video Only. They've got their better than Black Friday deals on right now. Don't be sorry. Check out Video Only before you buy.
Heading outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Post Malone presents the Big Ass Stadium Tour. 9-time Diamond Certified and 16-time Grammy Award-nominated phenomenon, Post Malone. His biggest headline tour, live at T-Mobile Park, June 26. Global superstar Post Malone with Jelly Roll. Pre-sale for City Card members is available now at LiveNation.com.
Your business needs a network it can count on.
Power's out.
Comcast Business has you covered with Wi-Fi backup to help keep your business up and running, even when your power goes out.
Everybody in the warehouse good?
Lights are out, but the Wi-Fi's up. Let's power on.
It's from the company with 99.9% network reliability.
Break room, you good?
Can't microwave my burrito, but Wi-Fi's fine. Let's power on.
Power on with the leader in connectivity, Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ask about Wi-Fi backup for your business or get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year contract, plus for a limited time. Ask about an $800 holiday bonus prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call or go online to ComcastBusiness.com today. Ins 12/15/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabit per second internet and security edge. EcoBill and autopay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
Toyotathon is here at Toyota of Kirkland. To celebrate the event, Toyota of Kirkland purchased extra inventory and has a premium selection of Tundras, Tacomas, RAV4s, Priuses, hybrid Camrys, and the all-new Crown Signa. Toyotathon is here, and Toyota of Kirkland is ready to celebrate with you. Visit the wonderful team and beautiful showroom at Toyota of Kirkland today or online at toyotaofkirkland.com.
O'Brien. Need to know. Brought to you by Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
All right, the Seahawks are about as healthy as you could possibly expect a team to be this time of year. Biggest concern heading into Sunday really is Leonard Williams, who we don't talk about enough. Dude's awesome. He's been dominant at times for this team. They really need him this week with the Arizona running game. Missed his second practice in a row with a foot injury, but that started last week. He played through it, so I don't think anyone's particularly worried. Abe Lucas got the day off, but again, that seemed to be a little bit more preventative than anything else. Ryan Grubb, pretty confident he'll be able to go.
Yeah, I think he is. I think we're going to, let him go out there and eat and see what he can do.
Yeah, that would be really good because when he was in there, the team was obviously much better up front. Even Noah Fant was able to get back on the field. He could be a go for Sunday as well. Team's been busy practicing in the dark as nobody has power, of course, over on the east side. They're using the big indoor facility, and they'll be ready to go. Gino was saying there's no excuses. They're ready for this game on Sunday.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
No real surprise, the MVP voting. Aaron Judge, unanimous. Shohei Ohtani, unanimous. Bobby Witt Jr., unanimous for second place in the AL. Juan Soto was third. Cal Raleigh, kudos to him. A couple of votes in the kind of 7, 8, 9 range. Wasn't his biggest news of the day, though. I think this could be huge. It could be nothing. Kylie McDaniel reporting that he switched his representation from Scott Boras to Excel Sports Management. That's not bad news. It might be no news, but it's definitely not bad news. And it could be really good news. The relationship between Boras and the Mariners is not necessarily rosy. And if you are hoping that Cal Raleigh is going to sign a deal before he gets to free agency, that was not going to happen with Scott Boras as his agent. That is not his MO. I don't know enough about Excel to tell you if this is the type of move you make if you want to sign a long-term deal, but certainly there's no downside to someone like Cal Raleigh leaving Scott Boras, and maybe this is a precursor to some sort of a long-term deal between the Mariners and their catcher.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
All right, whatever you do, do not put a dome in Cleveland because I don't want to lose games like last night. That was awesome. Beautiful to watch. Incredibly well filmed by Amazon. The whole thing was awesome and came right down to the wire. Jameis Winston and the Browns outlast Russell Wilson and the Steelers. Nick Chubb with the game winner.
From the gun. Hands it off. To the end zone goes Chubb. Touchdown Browns.
Yep, that was it. Russ threw a Hail Mary at the end. George Pickens was not ready, and then he was fighting people. It was not a pretty picture. Anyway, no easy games for the other teams in the division this weekend. San Francisco trying to bounce back. They are going to have to go to Green Bay. Rams host the Red Hot Eagles, who've been playing better. And honestly, those two, along with the Seahawks game, are probably the three best games of the weekend. They're the only three games on Sunday that feature both teams at or above 500. Detroit Indy's close, and that's a decent game, I guess, if Indy can kind of get it together. But, yeah, those are the only three games. Everything else is either two bad teams or one good and one bad team. So, NFC West weekend, weird considering how mediocre the division has been, but it's what it looks like. That is everything you need to know. Short version, because I got Greg Bishop here from Sports Illustrated. I want to make sure we have enough time to chat with Greg over the course of, I don't know, the next 40 minutes, 45 minutes or so. What do you think of Mike Macdonald? We haven't really had a chance to talk much Seahawks. What do you think of the first 10 games of the Mike Macdonald era?
Well, I think they've been really fascinating. You know, before they hired him, I think his reputation in football was that of a defensive Sean McVay, I guess is what I'd say. You know, brilliant, truly able to take schematics and change them in a way that benefit the team because this league is constantly changing, getting more precise, how quick offenses are, the amount of time that's taken to throw a football these days is like less time than it takes for us to like lean back and stretch the back out, you know? And I think you've mostly seen that. You know, this was a team that I pegged going into the season as potentially a fringe playoff team that maybe gets in and maybe wins a game. I'd say they look on track. I think that division timing lines up well this season with the 49ers injuries. I really like what the Rams and Cardinals are doing, both, but they're both a ways away. And I think the Seahawks, if they continue to play the way they have the last couple of weeks, especially on defense, I think you're looking at a team that I think will win the division. You know, now, will they be playing when I'm reporting our Super Bowl cover? I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean that seems to be a pretty short list this year, to be honest with you, of teams that are in that zone. You say he's sort of like a defensive Sean McVay, and I guess I'll ask a question that we've been discussing this week. Do you see him more as a McVay or a Shanahan? And the reason I bring that up is it feels from the outside, and as a national guy, maybe you'll have a little bit more of a sense. It feels from the outside like both McVay and Shanahan are offensive genius minds, but McVay seems to have an understanding of how to be a head coach that I'm not sure I see necessarily from Shanahan. And that's not to say he's not worth having as your head coach because you get the brilliant offensive mind that comes with it. But I'm not convinced 100% that Shanahan has the decision-making, the leadership, the organization, all the stuff that McVay does seem to have. And I think that ultimately McDonald's going to have to go in one of those two directions. Is he a McVay or is he a Shanahan?
That is the best question I think you've ever asked me in here.
Wow.
In part because you just hit a wheelhouse of mine that because I'm fairly close to that tree. I've written a ton about McVay, LaFleur, Kyle, And, Mike Shanahan, those guys were all together with the Commanders. Back in the day, I wrote about that team and those guys when they were young. And my comparison to start with here was a little bit lazy. Your delineation is right on point. Here's how I have always seen that tree. It starts, obviously, with Mike Shanahan and the zone run scheme. I think the schematics of that offense are primarily from two coaches, and McVay is not one of them. I think it's Kyle Shanahan that has done a lot of the evolution, and I think it's Mike McDaniel, who's now obviously in Miami. I think those are the true schematic geniuses. And I think Matt LaFleur, Sean McVay, Mike LaFleur, everyone else that's in that tree understands the scheme, but they're coming from those two sources, right, to it. I think the best manager of people in that same group is Sean McVay, who's also schematically very smart. And I think the best combination of the two is probably Mike McDaniel, who's just had injuries at the one position you can't have injuries at in order to win in the NFL. And so your question is perfect because I'm not sure where Mike fits in that, thing. And we've seen plenty of guys from that tree who schematically understand the system, who are able to take it to places and introduce play action and make those offenses better. But to your point, the reason Kyle Shanahan, for me, doesn't have 3, 4, 5 Super Bowl rings is exactly what you mentioned when you asked me that question. And I think it's the difference between being able to manage a football team amid your own brilliance, which we've seen Sean do, and I think we're seeing Matt LaFleur do right now. So, yeah, great question, and you nailed it.
And we don't know the answer yet. It's going to take some time, and he's got to deal with some ups and some downs, and how do you come through the adversity? And if there's one thing that I've really come to respect this year about what he's done is coming through some adversity, right? Losing a few games in a row, finding a way to get this team back on track. Nobody's quit. Nobody's given up. They continue to play hard every week. We got a lot more to discuss. Greg Bishop's not going anywhere. We're going to hang on to him, talk some more football with him, a couple other things on the mind as well. What's Brock Purdy going to do? Are they going to sign him after all this? What does the future look like in San Francisco? That's one of many questions coming up with Greg. I'm Brock and Salk.
Blue 88 on Brock and Salk.
Let's talk scheme, Brock. What was the biggest schematic change for the Seahawks?
Every day at 7:45.
Under center and get the ball out. And you get under there, and it's like, yeah, man, here's a 3-step, there's a hitch. Yep, there's 3-step, there's a slant. Yep, we're going to get in the gun, we're going to throw speed outs. They got back to some very, very basic stuff. Getting under center for 32, almost a third of the snaps, that's going to help you.
Blue 88, answering 3 football questions as only Brock Heward can.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here for my friends at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. So if you're looking for a fun night out, Snoqualmie's the place to go and unwind. And yes, the hotel is just about open. It's the one thing that they've been missing, and now it is just about here. Going to be sweet, expanded gaming floor, extra restaurants. Going to be absolutely awesome. And it's already the best spot to go watch sports, unwind, and do anything that might come with watching sports as well. Go to snocasino.com for all the details. Only 30 minutes from downtown. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Guys, your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, weight, and even ED. Schedule your free testosterone level check with the team at Revive Men's Health Seattle. Text the word BOOST, that's BOOST, to 65555 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Message and data rates apply. Message frequency varies. Text help for help and stop to cancel. ReviveMen'sHealth.com/privacy policy for how to opt in. Info will be used, and ReviveMen'sHealth.com/terms of use for terms of service.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Cressy Garage Doors. Make your home unique and stylish. Have it stand out from the other homes in your neighborhood. The #1 return on investment for your home. Cressy Garage Doors since 1952.
Hey Seahawks fans, Tyler Lockett for Brown Bear Car Wash. We've got the perfect play for a spotless car. With the Unlimited Wash Club, you can keep your car game ready all season long. It isn't clean unless it's Brown Bear clean.
Hanging up your lights can be a tangly mess. Leave it up to us and save yourself the stress. We'll install our lights, they're custom fit to you. We do residential and commercial too. So call Seattle Holiday Lights. We'll hang them up, we'll take them down, we'll do it right. So call Seattle Holiday Lights. Seattle Holiday Lights. Visit SeattleHolidayLights.com.
Transform your home from top to bottom with State Roofing. Hi, it's Sam Thomason, owner of State Roofing. It's not just about a new roof, it's about a new look for your entire home. Deck out your backyard or give your exterior a facelift with our siding and window options. And there's no better time to start than now with our incredible offer. 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 12 months. Why wait to make your dream home a reality? We do more than just roofs. Visit stateroofing.com. Let's talk about what's possible for your home.
State Roofing, the best roof you'll ever need. The Mike McDonald Show, the first word from the head coach after every Seahawks game.
We want to play a certain way, and you're just going to chisel away at it every day.
Presented by Emerald Queen Casino.
Black Friday is coming, and that's the smart time to shop for a top-rated TV from Samsung, LG, or Sony. But why wait? You can get those Black Friday TV deals right now at Video Only, and then enjoy Thanksgiving with your new TV. Still want to wait? Then how about better than Black Friday deals? The top-rated TVs at stupid low prices. Check out Video Only now before the rush, or you'll be sorry.
Make this holiday season extra special in the kitchen of your dreams while saving thousands. Hi, this is Chad Cicchini, owner of Heritage Homecraft. Our solid wood refacing system delivers a luxurious new kitchen, way easier and less expensive than a total tear-out. Book now, have your new kitchen before the holidays, and you'll save an additional 15% up to $3,000 off your new kitchen. Call now for a free in-home consultation. Heritage Homecraft, 425-485-1600, 425-485-1600, or heritagehomecraft.com.
You gotta love football season, but when it comes to your windows and doors, you don't want any fumbles. Steve Rabel here, reminding you to trust locally owned Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington to tackle your project. Their selection of windows and doors can't be beat, and they'll give you top-notch customer service with no trick plays. Right now, get 0% interest for 24 months with equal payments or 40% off qualifying installs. Schedule a free consultation with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Go to PellaPNW.com.
What does the Seahawks jersey mean? It's football.
Drops back, has time, loads up, throws. It's intercepted. Does he keep his feet in? He does. Seahawks ball.
It's community.
The stands are rocking right now. Nobody has left this place. It is pandemonium.
It's Seattle. This is your jersey. This is the Pro Shop. The Seahawks Pro Shop has the largest selection of Seahawks jerseys. Come try one on at the Landing in Renton or at Lumen Field.
This hour of the Brock and Salk Show is powered by Star Rentals, preferred supplier to the West's best contractors.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right, Greg Bishop is here with me for the remainder, I don't know, probably till about 8:10. We're going to steal him for an extra 10 minutes because I want to play some buy-sell with Greg. We'll see if he can figure out how the rules to that game work. It's very complicated. You either buy or you sell. Brady Henderson could figure it out. So if Brady can do it, I fully believe you've got this in you with your intellect. Any former roommate of Jeff Passan has to be able to figure out a game with such crazy, difficult, complicated set of rules. So I feel really good about it. And we'll talk to Ray Roberts coming up in 15 minutes here for Blue 88. Just going through some of the stuff you've been working on recently. There's some cool stuff. And one is Anthony Richardson, right? You wrote about him recently. Lyle and I had a big talk about Richardson a few weeks ago when he got benched. And we're both like, yeah, you should call. Like, I would absolutely like Anthony Richardson here long term. I am concerned about his inability to be accurate. I do think that's like a major problem in the NFL. But dudes like that, they just don't grow on trees. What do you think the future holds for him?
Yeah, I wrote about him a few weeks ago, and I know his quarterback coaches pretty well. Same guys as Purdy. And the reason that I was drawn to writing about him in the first place is they described him as the single potentially greatest athlete in the landscape. You know, like this is a guy who, think of every electric athletic quarterback is just as electric, and yet he has an arm that's like a howitzer. And they kept saying, like, what's really going to be interesting, like the crux of the story was, like, how long is he going to get to see if he can put it together? Because, you know, last season he got hurt. Last offseason, they told me in February he was still limited to 5 throws a week. And so he didn't get any work all spring or summer that would be exactly what he needs. So how do you realize his potential? You need practice and you need reps, and he got neither. So it's odd when you bench him within that situation, unless him checking himself out of that game was so egregious as Shane Steichen.
It's pretty egregious.
Well, yeah, and we don't know the particulars. Like he could have, it could
Just
even
talking to other quarterbacks, talking to people like Brock.
Yeah,
and they're just like,
I
it's
think
just a non-starter. You just can't do it.
As a baseline, it's a bad look. It could have even been like a fireable offense. You know, like
a little bit. Like you can't ask out of the game. And even Brock went through it. He's like, look, there's like 3 or 4 different ways you can do it without doing it. You can lay on the ground. You can, you know, he had like I forget all the ways Brock had for like pretending you were hurt enough to just basically stop the game for a minute and catch your breath. But at no point does a quarterback tap the top of his head. It just doesn't happen.
That's actually a pretty good story. I might have to call you, Brock, if you're listening. Yeah, the problem within that is like I get all that as a baseline. I get all that as a non-starter. But if you draft a guy and put the resources into him based entirely 100% on his potential, and then you decide you're not going to give him the reps he needs to realize it, it seems to me like you're making a point at your own detriment in that instance. What Anthony needs is to play, and I think what you've seen the last week or two is he can play in the NFL. We just don't know the accuracy, which you mentioned earlier, is going to be the thing. How accurate can he be? Now, with that kind of arm and that kind of ability to move, if he becomes accurate, he's one of the top 3-4 quarterbacks in the NFL, period, and soon. I don't know if he'll get there, but I don't think there's ever been someone in this calculus with quite the makeup that he has physically, not to mention the fact he's shown he can throw accurately in the NFL, just not consistently.
Is he Lamar mixed with Josh Allen?
At the top end, yeah.
Right. I mean, like that would be the hope, right? He's got some of Lamar's speed. I don't know if he quite has the acceleration, but the speed and then some of Josh Allen's size and strength.
Like a man that size shouldn't be able to do a backflip and then flip a football 70 yards down the air the way that you and I would throw a Nerf ball 10. Like it to me, that's unicorn stuff. And these projections almost always are overblown.
Yeah.
But you hear people talk about him like they're like awed by standing next to him because they are just blown away by his sheer.
Is that kind of Cam Newton? I mean, isn't that just sort of Cam Newton?
That's the best comp, I think.
Yeah.
But when they studied his body characteristics, and this was in my piece if people want to find it on SI.com, he actually, his closest NFL comp, body trait, athleticism trait, metric-wise, Khalil Mack.
Crazy.
And he's a quarterback, and that's why it's so interesting.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
How about what's going on? We talked a little bit about San Francisco. One quick question and then maybe a longer question. Quick question. Do you think that Shanahan is in some trouble at the end of this year if things kind of go awry?
I don't think so, but I would say in the NFL, it wouldn't surprise me. You know, look at the Jets, right? Like I covered that team in 2007 to 2010 for the New York Times. They're still doing the same thing. You fail one way, so you take the exact opposite of it, and then you fail that way, so you take the exact opposite of it. And it's like 3-4 to 4-3, a disciplinarian to a player's coach. And I think that there is real value in making change, and I think that most franchises do it too often. That said, they seem to have hit a ceiling of sorts, and they have not been able to stay healthy for a really long time. Like every season, there are a ton of injuries. This one has been pronounced. And I actually think Brock has played pretty well within all of that. And, the idea that he's going to carry them alone, I think would have been sort of a non-starter for me.
I guess the reason I ask is it sort of leads into the second bigger question, which is, of course, the Brock Purdy question. Do you pay him $50 million or whatever the going rate is, or do you let him go? And if you're the coach, you already have a team that's starting to kind of fall apart like the Roman Empire, right? I mean, the edges are crumbling. You're either going to have to introduce a new quarterback to that, and that's a huge, coin flip right now. Or you got to see what happens when you take $50 million off of your salary cap and try to make that work with your current group. I don't know that, if I'm Shanahan, I don't know that I want to be there for too much longer.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And I think that it's a pretty unique situation to them that here's how I see it. I think there are a handful of quarterbacks in the NFL that could truly win games, more by themselves, the way that we look at that normally. And then I'd put, 8 to 10 or so in a second tier where they're elite. You put the right group around them, they go out and win a Super Bowl. A Jalen Hurts. To me, a Dak Prescott falls in there. But you don't, for that group of guys where you need the right team around them, I think you almost have to pay them, but you don't feel great about it. Like, the alternative is worse, and you've seen it in San Francisco in many forms: high draft pick form, prize free agent form, make it work form. They have a guy who, when they're healthy, has proven he can play at the level of some of the top quarterbacks in the NFL. And they have a team with a bunch of very distinct weapons that cannot stay healthy. Like, we're talking 5-6 years of history there, especially with like Deebo Samuel, for instance. And the question is, can you ever take all that combination and win a Super Bowl? Not just get there, but win a title. I'm not sure that you can, but I don't know of a solution that involves blowing it up more significantly that puts you anywhere close to winning a Super Bowl. I would pay him, yeah.
Would you pay Geno?
Oh, that's tough.
Because what category is Geno in? You knew I was going to ask that next. And we even had a texter say, hey, instead of paying Geno, should the Seahawks try to pay Brock Purdy if he were available? I don't know whether it's going to ever get to that point. And by the way, maybe they decide to franchise Brock Purdy, and that might be the best thing to do with him and pay him short term but not fully commit to it.
Or a Kirk Cousins kind of deal where it's a 3 years but fully guaranteed,
Do you pay Geno $55 million this offseason?
I do, and I would say my opinion on that changed this season. Like, even the last couple of weeks, like, Geno is playing like a dude. Like, I'm watching him and I find myself drawn to him, which hasn't really necessarily happened with the quarterback in Seattle since the Legion of Boom days. And I think he's shown, one, that he can be explosive and dynamic, which is harder to find, and you see that sometimes with Purdy, the lack of it. And I think he's proven that he can come back and win games, and I think they're loaded at receiver. I mean, Smith and Jigba, the way he's really come on this year, Metcalf when he's healthy. I mean, to me, that's the strength of what's powering some of these close wins. And it's another one where you pay it and you go, like, you're a little bit house poor, and you don't have as much money to fill in around them. But the alternative when you get below those 12 to 15 quarterbacks I mentioned is bleak. And I think no team wants to be there. So you take your shot and see if you can fashion it around them.
Well, and quarterback class may not have those dudes in it. It's not like last year where there were some real opportunities, it looks like, to bring in dudes who were going to really have some success. After Shedeur Sanders, and I don't even know whether he's going to be that good. By the way, I love Shedeur. I don't know that I like Dion, but I like the kid. I think the kid's going to be good.
Absolutely. And maybe the Seahawks would be a team Dion interferes with, right? Didn't he say the other day he's going to? Yeah. And like maybe he doesn't want his son playing up here.
That would surprise me if he did.
Yeah, with fewer marketing opportunities,
and a defensive-minded head coach.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't seem like necessarily a fit for Dion. But I do like the kid. I think the kid's going to be good. Every time I watch Colorado, I think he's good, and their offensive line stinks. And when he has time to throw, dude throws dimes. I think he's good.
Absolutely. And I think Geno has proven more than enough that, that he can play in the NFL and at a very high level. The question is what they think, the people that evaluate those roster decisions.
35?
But maybe it's just a short-term deal. Like, I would give him, like, the franchise thing you mentioned earlier is interesting. I don't know contractually if he has something that rules that out. But if he doesn't, you pay him for 1 year, take another look. Every year you get more info, and I would say that every year the more info we're getting on him from his own play is positive.
We just have a couple minutes before we're going to talk to Ray Roberts. So I got to ask you about this. What is going on with NFL kickers? What is the deal?
It's awesome. I am currently working on a piece that centers on the Cowboys battery, more or less.
Okay.
So the interview will be with Brandon Aubrey, John Fassel, who to me is one of the best special teams coordinators in the league, and the holder. And there are a million factors here, from the balls that they use, that they're allowed to use now, to more dome stadiums, to better recovery and training, to all the other things you've seen for evolution.
What's different with the balls?
They are kicking balls, and they were re-allowed in 2015.
Okay.
They're closer.
Well, that's been a while. I mean, that's been 10 years.
Yeah, but what you've seen since then is a uptick in both accuracy from any distance and just an obliteration of 50-plus field goals.
Why do they allow that?
I think they wanted it to be more scoring when they put it in. And I think
it does seem like it shouldn't exist.
So in my story that'll be out in a couple of weeks, Nick Folk has like an awesome future landscape, what he wants it to be. He wants two sets of uprights. You get different points based on 30 to 39, 40 to 49, 50 plus. And you get different whether you're within the smaller uprights or between them.
Well, I first of all, I think that's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
It might be a little Mickey Mouse, so I don't think you could do both of those things, but I kind of do like the thought process behind it. Here's why I think they need to go back to the old balls. Just hearing you say this right away.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to allow kickoffs to come back to the 30 and guys are going to be good from 57 yards, you just don't have to go far enough to kick a field goal.
Look at Dallas last week. They had a 64-yarder negated by a penalty that gave their offense the ball back. It looked like the easiest thing in the world. Yeah, like it looked like me, kicking a can 2 feet down the street. I mean, I told the Cowboys, like, that's the first thing I want to ask these guys about, because I'm going to get them all together. Because to me, it just says, like, why do we even have kicking if it's that easy to sail a football with one leg that far down a field? It's truly mind-boggling. They're going to have this year at least twice as many 50-plus yard makes as they've ever had in NFL history, and it'll be more accurate from that distance.
Well, if we get to a 67-yard field goal, right, that would be kicked from the 50, right? The ball would be on the 50. A 67-yard field goal would mean if you get a touchback, you would need to go 20 yards.
And part of my
you're in field goal range.
Part of my reporting,
that's just dumb. Like that's ridiculous.
Part of my reporting for this story is everybody thinks there will be an attempt from 70 this year. The Cowboys almost did it from 71, and there are people that I quote in the piece who study kickers who believe someone will make from 70 this season.
Might have to go back and forgive Russ for his 45 left hash take from a couple of years ago. All right, Greg, thank you. Stick around for a few more minutes because I do want to play some buy sell, but it's time for Blue 88.
This is Brock and Salk's Blue 88.
Blue 88! Blue 88!
We take you to the field as Brock Heward breaks down 3 football questions as only he can.
Now here's your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
Oh, man, what does a former left tackle think of the idea of a 70-yard field goal attempt? Ray Roberts joining me today for Blue 88. Can you imagine a 70-yard field goal attempt?
No, I really couldn't. And all the chip shot 50-plus yard field goals these days is just killing me. It feels like it takes a little bit of the football out of football, even though it's the foot on the ball.
That's well said. Especially when you get the ball at the 30 now on these touchbacks. Seems sort of silly. All right, let's talk some start with the offense. I know, Ray, we always start with the offensive line. I feel bad, but for good reason this week, they changed over 40% of the dudes in the offensive line lineup, and it sure looked like they looked better. How were Olu and how were Abe Lucas?
Yeah, the word that first comes to mind for me was stability. Like, it just felt like the right side of the line wasn't getting crashed in, and the middle of the offensive line wasn't getting decimated like on every other pass play. I think Olu spent a lot of time really working on how to play with leverage and how to play with power and strength. He's had plenty of that type of stuff. He just didn't know how to play with it in this league, and it seems like he worked on that a lot while he was backing up Connor Williams. And then Abe Lucas, man, I love Abe Lucas. When they drafted him, I wasn't real sure about what he's going to bring to the table. But what he brought to the table, man, it was just good stuff. He's tough, physical. Like one of the plays to me that epitomized what he brings to the offensive line was early in the game. there's a catch down the field, maybe like 5 or 10 yards, and the receiver got held up a little bit. And Abe was down there running past all these other dudes trying to push the Powell. And let me just tell you, Mike, that has been like one of the things I've been really frustrated with this offensive line. Even though, like, it's not that big a deal, but when you see other teams and their runner is a yard away from the first down, all the dudes are down there pushing a Powell. And maybe, some people don't like it. The defensive linemen and stuff don't like it, but it's legal. So go do it. And our guys haven't been doing it. And Abe, haven't played for almost a year and a half, coming back off an injury, probably exhausted as all get out, trying to get back to your game conditioning. And he was sprinting past everyone to push the Powell. Like, that's the type of thing to me that he brings to this offensive line especially, that is you just haven't seen. Guys just seem more focused on, let me just get my job done, and then I'm going to go back to the huddle. And this dude was putting forth extra effort to kind of get every ounce of get everything out of every play that they ran.
I love that you said it that way. It's sort of what I was hoping for last week, was not just that he would help clean up some of the problems, but also that he would start adding some real bonus. And it sounds like that's exactly what he did on Sunday. Question number 2. I feel bad. We have not talked enough about Leonard Williams this year, and just watching him on Sunday, he looked like he is still destroying other teams' game plans. A guy like him specifically, what makes him so hard to deal with as an offensive lineman?
Well, the thing, I was thinking about this last night. He's a big dude, but not the biggest guy. He's a strong guy, but not the strongest dude. He's athletic, but not the most athletic guy in the world. But he has relentless, like his effort is relentless. This dude does not give up on the play. And so I'll be honest with you, there are times as an offensive lineman, you have like a little internal clock, and you're going like, okay, the running back should probably be at this point, in the run. Or the quarterback may have already thrown the ball. And there's a little clock in your head. Well, he destroys the clock, because the minute you decide to maybe let up just a little bit is when he destroys people. He's a big man. He's an athletic dude. He's a smart guy. But the thing that I see him more than anything is his relentless effort. It is just unbelievable how many times he looks blocked, and by the end of the play, he's making a tackle for a minimal gain, or he's getting pressure on the quarterback.
That's a great answer. God, your perspective on these things is always amazing. I love it. Let's do question number 3. We spent a lot of time this week talking about communication and loving ball and how important those things seem to be to Mike Macdonald. He's talked a lot about the importance in the middle of his defense of communicating. I know obviously that's a key part of the offense as well. You played for years. Who were some of the best communicators you were around, and why?
Well, first I would say Kevin Mawai, when he played here with Seattle as a rookie. He was just a really smart, intelligent dude. He put in the effort and the work to know all the different calls and schemes and defenses and blitzes and all these different kinds of things. And so you had a lot of faith in watching him prepare for the game, that when he communicated, he knew what he was talking about, even as a rookie. Like, this is when, like, I knew, like, right away this dude was going to be a great football player. And this was one of the reasons, is because he was just able to come into a room, not be intimidated by the veterans that were there, and be able to command the room because he knew he put in the time and effort. The other guy was Kevin Glover, who was our center in Detroit. And I think the thing that made him the most effective as a communicator is there was just no fluff in what he said. He was just a very matter-of-fact type of a guy, and he could just kind of tell you what it is and what was happening, in the moment without you having to guess or think or wonder. And then I will say the last person is, and he did this from the sideline, was Howard Mudd, the offensive line coach. Like, a lot of times we had these different signals and the way he would whistle and different sounds he would make that would let us know what he was seeing that they were going to do, like when blitzes or pressures or whatever. And so he was just very good at, like, really locking in during the game on, like, what a team is doing based on their formations, based on where we are on the field, based on their personnel that they were bringing into the game. He just had all these different little signals and sounds and whistles that he would give us that would kind of key us to, hey, this is about to go down. And so a lot of that between all three of them is just the time and effort they put in to want to know those things. But some guys just put in the effort to know what they need to know. Other guys put in the effort because they want to know what it is that they can communicate to our team or to our offensive line that can help us be successful.
And I'm surprised because I really figured Scott Mitchell would be your answer there. So that's very
yeah. Scott Mitchell was really good at communicating. I don't know if I'm up for this game today.
That was Ray Roberts for Blue 88 today. Oh, man, that is so funny. I had to bring up Scott Mitchell yesterday. G. Scott's been talking about how he thinks Jackson Smith-Njigba is the single best wide receiver in the NFL, which, is it puts whoever you're talking to in a really tough spot because now you got to argue against JSN, which I don't want to do. I think he's great, but he's obviously not the best receiver in football today. That doesn't make any sense. And he was like, well, look at the last 2 games. And I was like, well, look at Scott Mitchell when he was in Miami for a couple of games.
Yeah. Well, look at Scott. I'll put it this way: look at Scott Mitchell in the pregame warm-ups every now and again. Like we're like, oh man, we're about to go tear the world up, and then it was all of a sudden it's like, well, we're not tearing the world up today. Hope Barry can run the football. So, I saw that post from G and was wanting to give him a hard time about it, but I feel like he's trying to like get some momentum with the show, get a few clicks because I mean, I love JSN. I love the way he's shown up the last 3 games. Because I think he had close to 70 yards receiving, 3 games ago. So in the last 3 games, I think he has like 23 receptions and over 300 yards receiving. So he's done a really good job, and it's good to see him be able to do some things that we hadn't seen him do before, and was kind of maybe questioning if he was able to do it or not. But I love the way that he's kind of shown up the last 3 games. But to say that he's the absolute best receiver in football right now, I don't know that I could agree with that.
It's cool. That's why Jeremy Lin's in the Basketball Hall of Fame. It's you just have to do it for a couple days, and you're totally fine. Ray, thank you as always. Enjoy the game on Sunday, and we'll talk soon, man.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
There you go. The great Ray Roberts, not just an offensive lineman. He can talk about other things as well. All right. Greg Bishop's still here. I'm not letting him leave for at least another 15 minutes because I want to play buy-sell with him. Maura put together a fun group of questions, and we'll try to answer them together next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
He is Mark Schlereth.
It was impressive, and you think about it. I mean, I thought, hey, man, they get Christian McCaffrey back, second game he's back. It's going to cure their red zone woes, and they're going to score a bunch of points. And to hold them to 17, I thought that was impressive. And then to put an 80-yard drive together at the end of the game to end that thing with that scramble by Geno Smith, I was really impressed with going on the road and doing the things they did.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Beat the Black Friday rush during Black Friday Build-Up at Lowe's. Right now, get up to 50% off select major appliances. Plus, get an extra 10% off when you buy a major appliance from Whirlpool, like the new Smart Range with air cooking and a wipe clean coating. Shop these deals in-store or online now. Because Lowe's knows deals. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid 11/6 through 12/4. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for details.
Order for Jennifer C.
Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double whip, double sleeve?
Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine?
Did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, really? That's great.
Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, you just said that.
Did you say I just said that?
Yeah, I'm cutting you off.
I can't have any more? Why not?
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
The best defense is a good offense. So before the sewer backs up into your home and wreaks havoc, stop freaking and call Beacon. Beacon Plumbing, Heating, and Mechanical is there for you when you need them most. 1-800-FREAKIN or beaconplumbing.net.
At State Roofing, you can trust us to get your project done right because we prioritize quality and excellence in everything we do. Take advantage of 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest today, and don't pay until 2025. Call State Roofing at 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com.
Mariners single game tickets for 2025 are on sale Tuesday, November 26th. The squad will be back in action before you know it. And now's the time to lock in your seats for the biggest games next season. Don't miss opening day on March 27th. Incredible giveaways like the Julio Bat Flip Bubble and matchups versus the Dodgers, Yankees, and more. Plus, check out 30 value games with tickets starting at just $10. Go to Mariners.com to start planning today.
A deep blast. This is gone. Home run. Julio.
For many of us, it's happening. Your hair is thinning, your crown is disappearing. Hair loss had me feeling like I was losing my identity altogether. Well, I've got some good news. It's a simple one-day treatment that worked for me. The Advanced FUE from Advanced Hair. It starts growing new hair the very next day, and it's guaranteed to grow for life. We've all seen the pills and lotions that come with monthly memberships. Those can help retain what you have. But what if you want your own natural hair in specific areas like I did? You decide how much, how thick, and where. From Advanced Hair's state-of-the-art facilities to the world-class leading doctors like Dr. Parango, it's not a maybe your hair will grow. It's guaranteed that your new hair will grow. For your free consultation, $250 off and 250 free hair grafts, call 425-449-8185. Advanced Hair is the winner of the 425 Business of the Year, and they are the team that I personally recommend. That's 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
If the playoff picture has you stressed, let us give you something to breathe easy about. Hey, it's Dr. Ryan Stern of the Stern Sinus Center. Let us fix your ear, nose, and throat problems. Let's make your congestion, sinusitis, snoring, and allergies a non-issue. We can diagnose and treat everything, from allergy workups and treatments to modern nasal breathing procedures to advanced balloon sinuplasty. Come see us in Federal Way and Auburn or at sternsinus.com. That's sternsinus.com.
November is a great time to get a new TV. Now that the top-rated brands like Samsung, LG, and Sony are at the lowest prices of the year. With Black Friday deals available, what more could you want? How about better than Black Friday? Before you click, you should call Video Only to see how you can go lower than Black Friday. That's right, the best TVs at better prices. Check out Video Only before you buy, or you'll be sorry.
Between his hobbies and decades of work in a boatyard, Philip had put his body through a lot.
I'm an avid fly fisherman and an avid skier. It takes its toll.
Not to mention one other thing.
I had a near-fatal motorcycle accident. Absolutely obliterated my lower left leg again.
Philip couldn't live with the pain anymore, so he decided to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
Listening to all these radio spots, I said, what do I got to lose?
What was your experience like with Dr. Wagner?
What I was so impressed with Mark about is that how often you have a surgery like this, and the guy calls you the next day to see how you're doing. I can't say enough good things about the guy, honestly.
And how are you feeling now?
I have no pain, none. Zero.
Wow. So would you recommend stem cell therapy to others?
I'm a fan, believe me. I'd recommend it to anybody.
Before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Get him freaking out!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Ewert is my hero.
Jay Buhner just punched me in the kidney.
We're going to do you a minute.
Doesn't really work that way, Sherm. This is a show that has my name on it.
It kind of does, though.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Ewert and Mike Salk.
Hello! All right, a couple hours left here. Let me see if I can lay this out. We've got Adam Amin, who's calling the game on Sunday, Seahawks game. He'll join me at 8:30. Stacy Rost will stop by at 9 o'clock, and we'll argue about something, whatever's on her mind today. And then open phone lines at 9:30, of course, as we do on Fridays, and give you guys an opportunity to yell at me about whatever's on your mind. So that's what's going on for the rest of the day. Before we do it, still have Greg Bishop here from Sports Illustrated, SI.com, and I thought it'd be fun with a guy who is as a renaissance man like Greg, interested in so many different parts of the sports landscape, to play a really complicated game that we call buy or sell. You think you understand the rules? All right, you got this. Maura, what do we have today for buy or sell?
So difficult to figure out.
Yes.
All right, first up, we have Kyler Murray has it all figured out now. Buy or sell?
I'd say buy with a small disclaimer. I wrote him a couple weeks ago. I think he looks like the player that they drafted now. I don't think he has the talent around him necessarily to show the full, all figured out. I think they're thinner than that.
I'm going to say sell. I don't know. I've been so down on Kyler Murray for so long.
In the back row.
Thank you. I've been so down on him for so long. I'm going to keep it going for a little while longer. Again, it's the same Anthony Richardson. It's just accuracy. Like, I want to see what happens when I watch a full game of Kyler Murray. I know he's athletic. I know he will have a couple of big splash plays. Can he make the accurate throws when he needs to, when the guys are open, or does he still sail them 5 feet over their heads? And if he does that, I will get back to you next week and be perfectly willing to buy. But until I see it for a full game with my own eyes, I'm still in sell mode.
That right there will decide the NFC West.
Probably true.
Yeah.
Probably true.
All right, next up, after the having some glitch issues with the Tyson-Jake Paul fight, buy or sell Netflix's Christmas Day broadcast could be a disaster.
I would buy that it could be. I think that Jake Paul, Mike Tyson was a test run of sorts for Netflix to get their issues out, and I think they print money and will try and learn from it. But it certainly wasn't fun the other night.
How many people watch an NFL game on Christmas?
Everybody in the...
I mean, so it was 60
well,
million,
the
right, for that?
Day game kind of new. It's
right.
Yeah.
How many people watch like a big NFL game in general? Is it more than 60 million?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. So I'm going to guess. I'm going to sell this. I think they'll be just fine. I'm going to guess that 60 million, which was the number, right, that was put out there for the Tyson fight, is about as much as you could possibly ask anyone to handle. So I think they'll be fine. I don't know. I forget what the number is for an NFL game. I'm guessing it's closer.
This says
to
Raiders, Chiefs,
30 million?
last year, 29.6 million.
That's what I would have guessed. 25, 30 million. I think they'll be just fine.
All right, next up, Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers extend their win streak to 5 on Sunday with a win over his brothers Ravens.
I don't like them in that game. I would
sold in the back row.
And I love what Harbaugh is doing there, but I don't know if they can play the way they played the last few weeks the rest of the year.
I am also, gosh, I don't know what to do with this.
He loves Jim Harbaugh so much.
But I also really love the Ravens, and I love Lamar. But that's not my problem. My problem here is that the Ravens have just been so inconsistent. Like, who are they? They feel like they should be one of the 2 or 3 teams that are in the Super Bowl conversation, and they're just not playing that way. They're losing games that they should win.
Correctable mistakes last week, I think.
All right, but why do they keep making them week after week?
That's been the story of his time there in general.
I'm buying it. Harbaugh and the Chargers extend their win streak.
All right, reports that Jets owner Woody Johnson wanted Aaron Rodgers benched after their Week 4 loss. Buy or sell?
I buy it, and that's partly because I covered the Jets during a time of great turbulence. We're talking Mark Sanchez.
So you mean you covered the Jets?
We're talking Rex Ryan foot fetish scandal. We're talking, and I know Mr. Johnson pretty well. I believe the report.
Anyone in their right mind would want Aaron Rodgers benched. Anyone in their right mind would want Aaron Rodgers out of town. Anyone in their right mind would want a complete reset and make sure that you have a team not led by a quarterback who only cares about himself and trying to make everyone else around him look bad. Yeah, of course I buy this. Anybody would want Aaron Rodgers benched and gone.
It looks like Favre in the same uniform to me.
It is really unbelievable how he's gone down exactly the same path. It's shocking.
All right, we're going to move to baseball for this one. Roki Sasaki ends up a Dodger. Buy or sell?
I got a text passing real quick. I'm going to say buy just because it feels like they sign everybody.
Yeah, it's probably, unfortunately, a buy. I mean, there's no money associated with this one, right? It's just where he wants to go. He probably wants to go pitch for the Dodgers like everybody else does, but I hope that's not true. It'd be fun if he just goes somewhere else.
Oh, he's a Mariner, so sell.
Oh, yeah. This is Lyle's like dream come true.
All right. In all seriousness, if you want a reason that he could not end up as a Dodger, they say him and Yu Darvish are very good friends, and he learned his slider from Yu Darvish. So Padres are a real possibility there too.
How many years does Yu Darvish have left?
Couple, but he could be a reason Roki ends up there.
Yeah.
All right, we have some non-sports ones to finish out here.
Okay.
Buy or sell, you could play a full football game in last night's weather.
Sell.
So
today, I couldn't play a football game anyway. But in general, in that weather,
I wouldn't make it through one quarter.
I played a lot of bad weather football games growing up in the Northeast, but mostly rain and cold, and they were horrible. I never played like a full snow game like that. I think I probably when I was like in shape enough to play a football game, I think I could play a game in that temperature and that snow, but I would have hated it. I would have absolutely hated it.
I'm selling, and it's like when I was in college at Syracuse. Like, they didn't give us snow days ever, but I took them every time. You know, if it snowed, I didn't go to class. You know, I wouldn't even get out in that weather. I wouldn't lace them up.
Nice.
We didn't have a lot of snow days in Southern California, I can tell you that. But I love watching them, though. I really do enjoy the snow games. I think they're a blast to watch. I think bad weather games in football are better than bad weather games in baseball. I think baseball played in even like 40-degree, 50-degree weather when it's just cold and it's hard to play. Like, your hands hurt and it's hard to grip the ball right and all that. Football just, I don't know, it seems to kind of just lead to these sort of magical worlds.
When I covered the Jets, Bart Scott used to call those NFL films days, you know, like the breath coming off and you can see it and everybody loves it. And that's exactly the line I would draw for personal participation. An NFL films day means no me.
All right, last one here. Buy or sell Christmas trees and holiday decorations before Thanksgiving.
I'm buying it, and I'm going to make a confession here that's a little embarrassing. At my house, the Christmas tree decorated stays up year-round. That's an efficiency thing. Consider me Nick Saban. That's my turkey sandwich. Let's go.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
So you have a Christmas tree in your living room 12 months a year?
Yeah, and you know, one year I took
decorated.
One year I took the decorations off. Bad idea.
Why?
Because you never have to do it. It's there, it's ready, and we're festive at my house.
Special.
Yeah. Oh, it's special every day. That's just a mindset.
Maura, I don't know what to make of this. It's a good thing this segment is coming to an end. That's too much.
Never getting invited back?
I don't know. I don't know whether we can. I don't know if we can afford to. No, I'm a Thanksgiving. I mean, again, I'm Jewish, so the whole thing is still somewhat new to me. I have to go kind of overboard because I like kind of becoming Mr. Christmas, but not until the day after Thanksgiving. That's the rule in my
Salk
house.
accidentally brought a bird home with his tree once.
No, I didn't come in. No, the bird flew into the tree.
Okay.
Yeah, it flew into our tree
a
couple years ago. I wasn't home for it, of course. Heather was, and she had to deal with it. She was, of course, mad at me. It was like, I didn't put the bird in the tree. Like, I'm busy doing something else right now.
You're probably playing cold weather football with your homies.
Yeah, all year you've got that tree up, huh?
Yeah, and everyone that comes in is like shocked that this is a thing. And I'm just like, oh, you people spend this day after Thanksgiving putting up your tree. You know, I spend mine doing something much cooler than that.
I like putting up the tree. Might be a little wine involved with the process. All right. Appreciate it, man. It's great to have you. And you guys should follow Greg and read his stuff at SI.com. It's always something interesting. Is there any other projects you're working on that you want people to know about?
Yeah. Thank you for having me. Felt great coming back home. Patrick Mahomes will be our next cover. I wrote that. It'll be out in a couple weeks. Hall of Excellence Museum in Las Vegas. Freddie Roach's
Oh, man, we didn't even
memoir.
get to talk about that.
Happy to come back, but lots of stuff coming. Appreciate it.
This museum thing. Give me 30 seconds on it. Just tell people what it is. It sounds incredible.
I feel like I should be standing on the side of the road these days with a cardboard sign that says "Will write for food," and this is part of that. I'm writing a museum. It will be at the Fontainebleau Hotel in Las Vegas. It is sports memorabilia. It's really cool. Brady's 7 rings. Muhammad Ali's robe that he wore in his last fight, Jordan's game-worn 1991 shoes when he won the NBA title. And the idea was to tell the story of excellence through all these items from sports history. And so I would say the writing of those items is like a tasting menu of excellence in sports and how it explains our world.
503 says, Salt, get this guy out of here. Christmas tree year-round. What is he, a redneck from Mississippi? This is too much. Thank you. We appreciate it. Greg Bishop, Sports Illustrated. We'll come back with everything you need to know next.
Thanks for having me.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
ESPN's Benjamin Solak.
You go and you bring in 2 free agent linebackers in the pro scouting process, right? And Tyrell Dodson and Jerome Baker. And then all of a sudden you're 10 weeks into the season and you got 2 new linebackers. And to me, that's a sign that the head coach and the general manager right now do not understand one another. They do not see eye to eye on what they need at positions to get systems done, to get schemes done. That's concerning. That could be a concerning outlook for John. And so it's important that John and Mike get on the same page.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Ooh, ma. What was that?
That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very...
Calm? I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
Febreze. As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust Febreze car vent clips, featuring 3 distinct intensity settings, because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing. Which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs. Picking up Oscar!
Post Malone presents the Big Ass Stadium Tour. 9-time Diamond certified and 16-time Grammy Award nominated phenomenon, Post Malone. His biggest headline tour, live at T-Mobile Park, June 26th. Global superstar Post Malone with Jelly Roll. Pre-sale for City Card members is available now at LiveNation.com.
Hey Seattle, Jaden Schwartz for Techline Roofing. Call Techline Roofing and trust the team I trust. With the strongest warranty in the business, Techline Roofing has you covered. That's TEKLINE roofing.com. Trust Techline.
Guys, your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, weight, and even ED. Schedule your free testosterone level check with the team at Revive Men's Health Seattle. Text the word BOOST, that's BOOST, to 65555 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Message and data rates apply. Message frequency varies. Text help for help and stop to cancel. ReviveMen'sHealth.com/privacy policy for how to opt in. Info will be used, and ReviveMen'sHealth.com/terms of use for terms of service.
What's your holiday tradition? Now, if you're like me, it involves gathering around a big meal to celebrate. Well, what if there's no food on the table? Hey, it's G-Sky. This year, help someone less fortunate celebrate the holidays by supporting Nourishing Neighbors. The Nourishing Neighbors program provides grocery cards to the people who are the most impacted by food insecurity. So make a donation next time that you're at Safeway and help make sure everyone is welcome at the table for the holidays. Go to nourishingneighbors.com to learn more.
For tank and tankless hot water heaters, for clogged drains, for leaky faucets, for toilets that won't flush. Stop freaking and call Beacon. Beacon Plumbing, Heating, and Mechanical is your trusted source to solve all your plumbing needs. 1-800-FREAKIN' or beaconplumbing.net.
Do you hear that? These are the sounds of our jeweler's workshop at Shane Company, where they're working their magic to bring beautiful, fine jewelry gifts to life. At Shane Company, we love jewelry as much as you do, and we know what it takes to create something special. No matter your budget, we craft our jewelry with expert care to be passed down for generations. With jewelry craftsmen in every store and an unmatched free lifetime warranty, we're here to make sure your jewelry always shines bright. Stop by and shop online at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
Direct savings and client focus, the cornerstones of the Diamond Dave philosophy.
Hi, I'm Diamond Dave Cantor. My team and I at Cantor Diamond can be your trusted friends with an inside scoop on the diamond world.
Just like they are to thousands of people around the world.
And just like we have been for over 34 years.
At Cantor Diamond, it's all about the diamonds and the savings, not paying for high-end retail locations or the overhead of a mall.
You stand to save big time with our by appointment professional office approach, combined with direct importing.
When you choose Cantor Diamond, you choose huge savings, top quality, and excellent service. Call, email, or message us for an in-person appointment.
Or sit back and relax for free FedEx shipping anywhere in the USA.
Call Diamond Dave at 253-272-7007. That's 253-272-7007. Or follow them on Instagram at Cantor Diamond. That's at KANTOR Diamond.
Hey, Brock Heward here with Shannon O'Kelly, President and CEO of IRG Physical and Hand Therapy. And Shannon, we're not just rehabbing injuries anymore. Now we're in the business of speed and performance. Talk to me.
Yeah, Brock, we're really excited. We just opened up our IRG
IRG Physical Therapy and Sports Institute in Fremont. It's 5,000 square feet of AstroTurf rubberized flooring. We're not only going to treat your physical therapy conditions, but we're also going to help you as a patient, athlete, a recreational athlete, work on strength, speed, explosion, vertical explosion, horizontal explosion. I mean, we're going to create an athlete out of you and get you back to activity at your best.
What was the genesis of this?
Oh, there's a huge need out there. I mean, you talk to people and you start looking at patients that are going through rehab. Rehab is just part of the processing, getting people to a point, but then the next point is really doing the strength and function explosion and the athletic training skills that everybody wants and needs.
Schedule online right now at irgpt.com, irgpt.com.
Need to know. Brought to you by Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Well, this time of year, most teams are usually not that healthy, and the Seahawks look pretty good, I would say, heading into a huge division matchup on Sunday against the Cardinals. Leonard Williams was out once again with his foot injury, but it seems like he's probably going to be good enough to go. That's at least the way it was last week. He's been just so good, and I loved Ray's description of him, just how relentless he is, and what that does to the offense of the other team. As for the Seahawks offensive line, they clearly got a lot better with the changes made last week. Abe Lucas did not practice yesterday, but the news seems to be pretty good. I'm guessing it was just preventative. Ryan Grubb seemed to indicate he'd be ready to go full game.
Yeah, I think he is. I think we're going to, let him go out there and eat and see what he can do.
All right, well, let him go out there and eat and see if he can continue to play the game without cramps. I mean, certainly don't want to go jumping in the pool for at least 20 minutes after you do so. He'll be out there. Noah Fant sounds like he could get back on the field. Maybe played a little bit yesterday. Maybe he'll be a go for Sunday. So the team is definitely kind of putting it all together right now. They are also dealing with a big power outage like everybody is, but the Virginia Mason Athletic Center is on the east side. No power the last few days. Geno Smith says not a big deal.
It's just a little bit colder in the indoor, as you guys see. But for the most part, the prep has been great. I think guys have, obviously without power at home is going to, hinder some things. But guys have been doing a great job at, studying. And it allows you to spend extra hours at the facility. If you don't got power at home, you got power here. So you can spend extra hours here and just studying. And, we're not going to use it as an excuse. There's a lot of people without power. And we're just blessed to be able to, come to work and still do our jobs.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
All right, MVP voting yesterday in baseball. Not a surprise. Hey, guess what? Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani were the unanimous winners, one in each league. I don't think that should blow anybody away. It was almost so obvious that it didn't really make enough news yesterday because who else was it possibly going to be? Bobby Witt, unanimous choice for second place in the AL, and then Juan Soto was third. Cal Raleigh gets a couple votes in the 7, 8, 9 range, which seems about right for him. But that wasn't his biggest news of the day. Kylie McDaniel reporting that Cal has switched his representation. He had been with Scott Boras. He's now with Excel Sports Management. In and of itself, those things aren't usually big news, but look, Boras and the Mariners, no secret, don't have the best of relationships, and Scott Boras not a guy who generally wants any of his clients to sign deals before they reach free agency. He wants a bidding war. He wants a mystery team. He wants to create a market and get his guys paid a tremendous amount of money. I don't know whether this means that Cal Raleigh is going to or is interested in signing any sort of a deal to stay with the Mariners before his free agency starts, but it doesn't not mean that. You know what I mean? Whereas before there was probably about a 0% chance of that happening, now I think that there's at least some chance of that happening, and that's obviously good news for Mariners fans, especially if you'd like to see Cal Raleigh stick around here for a long time to come, and I would put myself in that category.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Beautiful, wonderful imagery from the snow game last night. Really enjoyed that. Came right down to the wire. Jameis and the Browns outplaying Russell Wilson and the Steelers. Nick Chubb getting into the end zone late.
From the gun. Hands it off. To the end zone goes Chubb. Touchdown Browns.
Yeah, that was it. Russell ended up bringing him down the field, at least close enough for... That was a little bit more than a Hail Mary. They were at like the 35-yard line, so it was kind of in between a throw and a Hail Mary. Didn't work. It gets knocked down, and then George Pickens is like fighting the Browns players afterwards. He still had more to say.
Like I said, conditions played a huge, huge part in today's game. I don't really think the Cleveland Browns are a good team at all. I think the conditions kind of saved them today.
He's a bit much, huh?
Yeah, the Steelers they have a way of finding good receivers. Like they always find them in the draft, but they have a way of finding diva, emotional receivers as well.
I mean, some might just call those people receivers, but yeah, I mean, like...
theirs are extra.
That's a fair point. Yeah, I don't know, dude. Chill out. No easy games for the other teams in the division this week. So San Francisco is going to Green Bay. Obviously not an easy place to play. Rams are hosting the Eagles, who've been playing really good football recently. So, again, win this game this weekend, you got a pretty decent shot of being alone in first or being in first place. The rest of the slate this weekend's actually kind of bad. The 3 NFC West games are the only 3 games on Sunday that have both teams at or above 500. I just looking at it yesterday, it's crazy. The only other decent game really on Sunday is Detroit-Indy. I don't even know if that's going to be a decent game because Detroit's just been blowing everybody's doors off. But at least, Anthony Richardson's fun and Indy's close to 500. Every other game is either between 2 teams below 500 or one team that's well above and one team that's well below. So not exactly the greatest weekend until you get to Monday Night Football, which should be pretty good, as Maura mentioned, Chargers and Ravens. That's everything you need to know, and we'll do that quarter past every hour, of course, here on the Brock and Salk Show. It's Football Friday. It's powered by the Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. We'll have open phones here in about an hour, so if you've got something on your mind, we would love to hear from you, love to chat with you, and start thinking about the take on football, on baseball, on boxing, on whatever it is. We've been talking about a lot of different stuff today, and we want you to control the show for a little bit, starting at 9:30. Before we get there, though, we always like to catch up with whoever is calling the game this week, and for Fox, that will be Adam Amin. He will join me next. It's Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
John Morosi is here.
I don't believe that I would trade a Bryce Miller for a Willie Abreu. I'm a big Abreu fan, but pitching is so precious that he doesn't quite rise to that level, in my mind, yet, of what you would have to acquire to give up someone like a Miller. Now, if it's a bigger trade than that, if they're giving additional talent, then maybe you open up that conversation. So certainly this story is one to watch as the weeks move forward, as we get a little bit closer to the winter meetings in Dallas next month.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right, it's been miserable. This weather stinks, man. I'm out. I hate it. The cold, the dark, the rain, the whole deal. I get it if all you want to do is just lie on the couch and eat, but you know that when you do that, there are consequences to it, right? So this is the time. Enjoy your fall, but still lose weight with a sustainable program with real healthy foods, lifestyle strategies, and accountability. Eastside Weight Loss Clinic knows the secret for fast-lasting weight loss. They want to show you. All it takes is a free 15-minute phone consultation. I did it. I lost a whole lot more than that. I lost 35 pounds in 8 weeks and couldn't believe how easy the program was to do. Looked forward to the meals, great recipes, healthy, delicious, easy to make, and yeah, the number on the scale just keeps on going down. Pretty good. Eastside Weight Loss Clinic, healthy, sustainable weight loss that works. No gimmicks, no tricks, no drugs, no injections. Call them, 425-588-0080, or go to eastsideweightlossclinic.com. Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
Paid for by government. Now is the time to fill your vault with Morgan Silver Bars. Grab your piece of America's silver legacy with this special offer. These spectacular shining silver bars featuring a crisp image of the iconic Morgan silver dollar, a legendary coin that has captivated collectors for generations. Americans treasure owning silver bars and coins, putting them away for themselves and their loved ones. Call now to secure 1-ounce silver bars minted in 99.9% pure silver and made in the USA. You'll be glad you did. Hurry, don't miss out on this special deal. Save $10 per silver bar. The more you buy, the more you save. Limit of 25 bars per customer. Call to learn more. Plus, with qualifying orders, you'll receive a free Morgan silver dollar. That's a $59.95 value and free shipping. Call 1-800-222-3967 now to secure your 1-ounce Morgan silver dollar bars. That's 1-800-222-3967.
Roof now, pay later.
Hi, I'm Sam Thomason, owner of State Roofing. Take advantage of our 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to a year. We've partnered with leading lenders to make the replacement or repair of your roof affordable. Flexible financing options are available to take the worry out of an unexpected expense. Call us today at 866-ROOF-ROOF to schedule a free no-obligation estimate or visit us at stateroofing.com. That's stateroofing.com.
State Roofing, the best roof you'll ever need.
Toyotathon is here at Toyota of Kirkland. To celebrate the event, Toyota of Kirkland has purchased $3 million worth of certified used and pre-owned vehicles on the lot ready for you to test drive and take home. The largest selection of certified used and pre-owned vehicles during Toyotathon can only be found at Toyota of Kirkland. Visit the wonderful team and beautiful showroom at Toyota of Kirkland today or online at toyotaofkirkland.com.
Cougar basketball is back.
These guys want to get better at basketball. They want to go as far as they can in the game. They want to get their education. They want to be around each other and build a real family.
Coach Riley and the Cougs are ready.
We put in so much work all of our lives for this exact moment.
We are Wazoo. It's only on your home for Cougar basketball.
Catch the Cougs all season long on AM 770 KTTH.
Headed outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nellie on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on seattlesports.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Your business needs a network it can count on.
Power's out.
Comcast Business has you covered with Wi-Fi backup to help keep your business up and running, even when your power goes out.
Everybody in the warehouse good? Lights are out, but the Wi-Fi's up. Let's power on.
It's from the company with 99.9% network reliability.
Break room, you good?
Can't microwave my burrito, but Wi-Fi's fine. Let's power on.
Power on with the leader in connectivity, Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ask about Wi-Fi backup for your business or get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year contract, plus for a limited time. Ask about an $800 holiday bonus prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call or go online to ComcastBusiness.com today. Inst 121524. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabit per second internet and security edge. EcoBill and autopay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
The Harnish Auto family has always found ways to make a difference in our communities, and the need never stops, and neither does the Harnish Auto family. Hey, Brock Heward here. With the holidays approaching, we often think of those less fortunate. Food bank supply, well, it's at an all-time low, but we can help. Drop off non-perishable food items at any of the 6 Harnish dealerships this November for food banks from Everett to Puyallup. Visit Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, Subaru, and Volkswagen of Puyallup, or Chevrolet and Kia of Everett to donate today. It's the Harnish Auto family, where people matter.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Let's see. Did Heather take the bird by the hands when it got into the house? No, I think she just left the door open and eventually that thing flew away. By her, I don't know about that one. Yeah, there's some stuff in there. Hopefully the text and the questions and everything will improve by the time we get to open phone lines at 9:30 this morning. We're getting ready, of course, for Seahawks and Cardinals, another division matchup, second in a row, and finally they looked a lot more like the team that we've all expected them to look like when they took the field against San Francisco. The win was obviously a huge part of it, and just getting a win. But again, the way they got it and the way the defense played, I think, is the reason that, yeah, it does feel a little bit different. The perception of this team has maybe changed in just 7 days. So what will it look like on Sunday? Adam Amin's got the call on Fox with Mark Sanchez, and Adam joins me right now. Good morning, Adam. How are you?
Good to talk to you, buddy. How you doing?
I'm doing great, and I love the two of you guys together. I love your broadcast, so I'm just going to start off by doing some butt kissing. I think you guys do one of the best teams out there, so it's good to have you on here, and thank you for just putting together a fun. I think you guys seem like you have fun during your broadcast.
It's hard not to with Sanchez, and I know Seattle fans are very familiar with Mark over these last few years since he's been calling games. I know he and Kevin Cougar out of Rams and Seahawks and Cardinal games, and we're getting into that mix as well. We'll actually have Seattle this week, and next week we'll get them with the Jets too. So we'll get a chance to see some evolution, hopefully, of this offense, and hopefully see where this defense is in the next couple of weeks, because it's going to be essential in a weird, chaotic division. But I really appreciate you saying that about our broadcast, and Christina's awesome, one of the best sideline reporters in the game. And Mark really does have a good time. He comes in with a loose energy, but a high ceiling for knowledge, and it's been a really pleasant and fun group. And this is probably one of the younger NFL broadcast crews ever in terms of just, like, we're all in our, mid to late 30s. I was surprised to see that it doesn't really happen like that very often, where you get people of our age together consistently as a crew. So it's awesome, man. It's been really fun.
Mark has a little bit of young Phil Simms in him to me, where it's like it's just kind of fun watching the game with him, but maybe he also throws in a little extra analysis now and again. I'm like, oh, great. I kind of like those color guys. I just want to like hang out and watch the game with, as opposed to like hitting me over the head with X's and O's every moment of the game. So anyway, just a personal thought.
I think the bar, the sitting at the bar with your butt, you want it. That's always been a high compliment, I think, for people who do our job. I know Brock would say the same thing.
Well, how come he doesn't do it then? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, the implication that you're sitting at the bar with your buddies is, I think, the key. But I think he and I would take that as very high compliment. So thank you, my friend.
All right, so Adam, how much has changed? The last week, things here feel a little different. How much did the perception of the Seahawks change with that win in San Francisco?
I think that you could say the same thing for how the perception changed for Pittsburgh or Cleveland last night. Like, everything changes within a matter of 7 days in this league, and the narrative shift, and they change focus, and the flavor. This is the most flavor of the week professional sport we have, and I don't know what it's like in England. I don't know what it's like in Europe with European football, but I feel like it's probably very similar. Somebody in Manchester saying, "Oh yeah, City's the best. We're going all the way to the championship," or I don't even know if that's the right nomenclature for it, because the championship is different from the Premier League. You know what I'm saying? But we're going all the way to the top of the table, and a week later you lose, a match that maybe you weren't supposed to, and go, "Oh, this team is bollocks," or whatever it is the folks say in England. So I feel like it's such a narrative shifting league that week in and week out, we have a different sense for what we think we're going to see. There are so many variables week to week to week. 11 players on each side of the ball, 12 possessions a game, substitutions come in, schemes get schemed per week. There's 5 new concepts that teams are running every single week, whether it's on offense or defense, just for that game. So it looks completely different from week to week. And then the individual performances themselves completely shift the narrative. Geno Smith had done nothing against San Francisco for the most part over the last 3 seasons, and hadn't been able to solve the problems that Fred Warner provided and that back end provided and what the front was giving them. And here he comes with a near masterful second half and a phenomenal final drive and an incredible individual effort on that last series to be able to win a game against a team that, again, perception wise, is still considered to be one of the better teams in the NFC, even if that perception has begun to change for the 49ers. So that's how quickly things change. I read something this week, and I know you guys may have talked about it, just like the Shanahan tree, and how McDonald is kind of bringing a little bit of chaos to that tree with the coaching tree and things of that nature. Like, that's how quickly these narratives shift and change and direct different focuses. And now suddenly, because of where the rest of the division is at too, it's not just what the team itself is doing, it's relative to the rest of the division and maybe to the rest of their conference. The NFC, outside of maybe Philadelphia and Detroit, doesn't feel like a truly dominant, top of the conference. And I guess you could say the same thing about the AFC outside of your Buffalo and Kansas City. even the conversation around Baltimore has changed. Mike's old stop has changed now because of losses that they've had in the last month. So I think week to week it shifts so drastically that now we're looking at this division because of the relative chaos and the relative closeness of the four teams that are in it. And we feel like, well, everybody's got a shot. The Seahawks are right there in it. And by the way, Mike McDonald's quotes, DK Metcalf's quotes, all of their words reflect how quickly those things change. Those guys feel it too. And I'm excited to talk to Mike and Gino today about it, just to see how their feelings shifted after a bye week, which I'm sure felt very sour, and then to come out and get a win on the road against still what is a quality opponent, regardless of their record, because of the talent on that side. I'm excited to hear what they have to say about how their feelings over the course of the week has shifted, and if that gives Gino a little bit of extra juice now going into this week against an Arizona team that, by the way, 2-4, they're terrible. Gannon sucks. Get him out of there. Oh, now you've won 4 straight games, and you won in dramatic fashion, and you won against a quality opponent in that mix as well. So now the narrative on the Arizona Cardinals has changed too. That's how quickly these things happen in this league.
Talking to Adam Amin of Fox Sports, who's got the game on Sunday. You mentioned Gannon, and I don't know that anybody's ever had a tougher look when he first took over a team, and everyone's making fun of the pew pew and some of the comments, and I was right there with him. Dude sure seems like he's been pretty lights out since. How interesting to get a matchup here of 2 defensive head coaches. You don't see a ton of those. How does that affect this game?
Especially with coordinators on the offensive side that don't really have the same requisite experience that you expect from high-quality teams, right? It's a fascinating matchup. So I look at Gannon, and listen, he was a quality coordinator, and as was Mike in Baltimore, but guys that come from similar spots, similar areas, similar pressure for what they were doing because of the quality of the teams that they were working for, and are expected to do very specific things in a very specifically played division. So I'm really impressed with Jonathan. I always appreciated talking to him when he was in Philadelphia. I thought he was behind the scenes. And by the way, I think they're so different. These guys, they're so different away from those press conference cameras that you see post-game on Sunday, post-mortem on Monday, week starting on Tuesday. Like, they're so different behind, or away from those cameras when they do get the opportunity to just sit and talk some ball and be a little looser and swear up a storm, which a lot of these guys feel comfortable doing, which is perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with that. I just like to see the shift in dynamic for a lot of these guys. But Gannon's always been very forthright with me. I've had a good relationship with him going back the last few years. I feel like he really does know the game. He loves talking ball. This will be my first experience with Mike, so I'm kind of intrigued to see what it's like one-on-one with him. But for Gannon, it's always been kind of I like ball. I like thinking about these things. I like talking about philosophies. I like talking about concepts. And I think that translates very well because guys who do have a deep knowledge or like talking about these things, I think are really good at being able to communicate what they like and don't like to individual guys. And it's taken a while, and you do have to see success on the field for guys to gravitate towards your message. But now I think it's easier. I'm sure it's easier for Gannon to be able to relay the message that he wants to deliver to his guys because they're starting to see results, even if it is in tight games, even if it is in, dramatic late game field goal situations, you're still getting wins. So naturally, as human beings, the psychology of your brain is going to say, after, therefore, because, well, we did this during the week, and Gannon said to do this, and we did it, and then we won the game. So naturally, that must have been a direct, result of the things that we did during the week. Whether that's wholly true or not, it doesn't matter. That's how human brains work. That's how athletes' brains work. They need results, so the message is a lot easier to digest when the results are there. And I think that's what's happened now for Jonathan. Now they've passed their win total already by a couple from last season.
So no post hoc ergo propter hoc.
I love that you brought it out. I didn't want to just assume that you're a West Wing fan as well, but I really appreciate you being able to bust that out. 25th anniversary of the show.
Of course.
I'm in the I'm in the middle of season 6 of my 7th rewatch of the show. So thank you for dropping a post-doc Ergo prop.
A couple of things. First of all, I learned that when I was in high school Latin. So when it came up on the West Wing, I was already excited. Second of all,
already there, yeah.
That is hysterical that you're on your 7th rewatching. I rewatch it on loop. When I finish season 7, I turn back around and start season 1 again.
I'm in the middle of season 6. Fredonia. Matt Santos is in the middle of the New Hampshire primary debates. I love it.
I'm Matt Santos, and you better believe I approve this message.
All right. This message, absolutely.
Adam Amin is with me, and we've discovered that we're both huge dorks, which is awesome. And also,
shock, though, is it?
I do want to reiterate, after he talked about the guys cursing, that was shift that he said right afterwards. I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page there.
Thanks for saving me on that.
Kyler Murray is, to me, a story that doesn't usually happen, of a guy that got paid and is now finally seeming to actually live up to the money that he didn't seem to live up to beforehand. You spent a little time around him. Is he going to buck the odds and actually make it as a legitimate premier quarterback in this league?
Here's what I think is happening to him right now, because he has the ability and the opportunity to do that. Mark, you mentioned working with Mark Sanchez, and he has good time, but he's got these astute observations, especially about quarterbacks, and understandably so, being one himself. When we had Arizona early in the season, he said that he believed that Kyler Murray was at the point of his career that's the perfect spot, the perfect crux of where a quarterback wants to get to. First off, he's been paid, right? So the security level is set. But you're at the point now, if you're Kyler Murray, and I think this was incredibly astute, that you've been in the league now 6-7 years. Take away some injury time as well. You basically play 5-6 full seasons now. So you're at the point in your career where your mental acuity for the position is really starting to come to fruition. You're I get the NFL. I know what I need to do in terms of manipulating things, whether it's a defender, whether it's a scheme, whether it's using cadence or my athletic ability, whatever it may be. I know how to manipulate a defense now because I have the mental sharpness of doing it over and over for 80 some odd starts. And I'm still at a physical point in my career, late 20s basically, where I'm very strong. I'm still really fast. I'm probably still faster and quicker than a lot of other guys who play the position, and I have the arm talent that hasn't started to dissipate yet. And by the way, guys like Matthew Stafford at age 36 still have that arm talent. So sometimes those things stay for a really, really long time. But you're reaching that kind of point of connection where the acuity mentally is going up. It's on that upward trajectory, and you hope that always goes up and up and up, even if it starts to flatten a little bit. And the physical nature hasn't plateaued yet, or it hasn't even gotten to that point where it's going to dip yet, if it has plateaued somewhat.
It's like a 26, 27-year-old pitcher, right? A guy who still has his good fastball, but is starting to understand how to get guys out in this league.
Guy knows how to pitch now. Guy knows how to manipulate the strike zone. Guy knows how to use that particular, two-seamer on this particular count. Now he knows the umpires and their zones. Now he knows the hitters because he's seen them for 12 at-bats a year, a couple of times a season. So now we're really getting to that point, and I think that's where Kyler is. So are those things all necessarily connected together or correlated together? Not necessarily, but they've all happened now. So they're all happening at this really good point of his life and in his career where he's gotten paid, he's smarter, and he's still physically capable. And I think that's what we're starting to see now, because he still has the zip on the football that he had when he was at Oklahoma, right? Or A&M even. He has the physical gifts of being able to move around the pocket and evade guys, maybe not as fast as he was when he was 19, but for an NFL player that's put some weight on, he's still able to maneuver and manipulate with his legs and with his eyes and with his feet. He can still do all the physical things now, but now he knows how to do it better, and he knows when to use it, and he's making better decisions, which is a big thing that Gannon has talked about during this 4-game win streak, not throwing the ball into harm's way because, he did that a lot in his first couple of seasons. So now he understands, I can't force this pass, or I can't force it against that defender. He's seen the Seattle Seahawks defense, and I know it's obviously different now with the overhaul, but He's seen Reek Woolen a couple of times. He has seen Devin Witherspoon, even while he was hurt. I think that was the other part of it too, Mike, is the fact that he missed a bunch of starts last year because of injury. So sitting away and being on the sidelines and kind of having to learn what's it like when you see other people who maybe aren't as good as you or talented as you try to do the job gives you a little bit of perspective on it. I think he's changed his attitude. That certainly helps. I don't think those narratives are all untrue. I think he did need to study more. I think he did need to focus a little bit more. But again, as time goes and you get wisdom and experience and maybe a little bit of perspective being away, I think all those things are starting to come to fruition right around the same time.
A few more minutes here with Adam Amin, then we'll let him go, start getting ready for the game on Sunday. I asked Greg Bishop earlier this morning when he was in with me, and I'll ask you now, with all you just said about Geno a few minutes ago, you're going to be facing a big decision with him this offseason. Are you paying Geno in that 45 to 55 million range that the top quarterbacks are making?
It's a really hard decision, right? Because what we just discussed with Kyler about the physical tools, the mental acuity, the mental acuity for Geno Smith ain't going anywhere. That guy is as sharp and as smart as they come and really has taken the wisdom of being in the league for a decade and added to his game and been able to understand concepts and been able to understand defenders and been able to understand what defenses are trying to do against him. But the physical tools, are they going to start dissipating if you are going to sign him to a 3 or 4 year deal and he's going to be in his age 37 or 38 season by the time he finishes up a new contract? That's where the question lies. And it is a hard decision to make, especially for a new coaching staff who inherited him. And not by any means like a bad thing to inherit. So it's a great gift be able to have a quarterback that has played at a high level for a good portion of time now and has played in big games. But as an organization, are you looking at the draft class that's coming up and saying, I got to get one of those guys? They're not going to be in a position, if you really like Shedeur Sanders, and I'll have to text Brock at some point after the season and see what he thinks. I mean, I'm sure called a handful of his games. If you really like that guy, probably not going to get him because, you're probably not going to be in a position to draft player like that. Do you really want to grab, a quarterback coming out of SC or Notre Dame in the next 2 seasons? Are you really excited about somebody coming out of Clemson or Alabama in the next couple of years? Are you going to have a chance to get a Jalen Milroe? And is that the type of player that you want? I think it's a really hard decision to make if you don't have the guy. But the price is going up. The price is going up for all of these guys. It's only going to get higher. You're already getting into the $50 to $60 million range for the highest tier of quarterback. So if you're looking at $40 million, $45 million, for some of the next quarterback contracts that you're looking at per year, is that something that you're willing to pay, or do you want to hit the reset button now? And I am of the philosophical belief that you want to start getting away from needing to pay your quarterback. And that's not new, by the way. The Seahawks won a Super Bowl because of it a decade ago. That's not a new concept to anybody listening. But I'm of that belief that if you can build around a young quarterback and make sure you have the right coaching staff to develop him, I'm okay with moving beyond the veteran quarterback, even though they are at a premium. They are tough to find that level of understanding and development. But if you're looking at a late first-round pick or a mid-first-round pick and you really like the quarterback classes in the next 2 seasons, then I think you probably move away from Geno Smith.
All right, here we'll finish here. A hard West Wing question for you, since we've now revealed to each other our dorkiness. Of all of the various people who did short stints on the West Wing, a couple of episodes, 1 to 4 or 5 episodes, who was the best? Who was the best sort of guest star, Matthew Perry or John Larroquette? There's about 1 million of them. Who was the best?
It's a tie for me between Roger Reese, who played Lord John Marbury, and Matthew Perry, two actors we've both lost in the last 5 years, coincidentally enough. The Joe Quincy run, Life on Mars, when he discovers the vice president is having an affair. The episode's phenomenally written. And for his show in Separation of Powers in season 5, when it's not a great season, it's not a particularly well-written season, but there's like 3 great episodes in that season. He's in one of them when the Supreme Court justice is on, basically on life support. His performance in that episode and the writing in that episode were phenomenal. And then Lord John Marbury is just one of the greatest side characters I've ever seen in any show. The flamboyance, the flair that he brought, and the humor that he brought with this incredible level of intelligence and inebriation.
Yes.
Those are probably that's probably a dead heat between those two late gentlemen.
All right. Well, one day we'll do our fan podcast together of the West Wing, and no one will listen, but we'll do it anyway. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for spending some time today, and looking forward to the broadcast on Sunday, and then have fun with the Jets broadcast a week later. And we'll see whether Aaron Rodgers is still the quarterback for that game.
Yeah, it'll be fascinating to see, my friend. Always appreciate the time with you, Mike.
Good stuff. There you go. There's Adam Amin from Fox Sports, and that's a great job and a great 20 minutes or so on the Seahawks, on the Cardinals, on the NFL. And he is actually one of the first people I've heard come on this air and say, especially as a broadcast, we don't hear a lot of play-by-play or color guys that are willing to come on and say, I'd move on from anybody. Right? It's always like, well, I got to go talk to the guy tomorrow, so I'm not going to say that they should move on. But he's pretty true to what he believes, which is, A, that at 35, the skill set probably isn't getting any better and it may be deteriorating, and that he's a believer in building around the young quarterback when you don't have to pay $50 million plus and take that huge salary cap hit that comes with it. Hey, I like it. I mean, again, that's sort of probably where I'm at. The problem I have with it is just how bad this year's quarterback class is and not really knowing enough about what comes after that. And we talked about Shedeur Sanders, and we were talking about it with Greg Bishop. Like, is Deion going to let him come here, even if for some reason you were in position to get him, which you're not? Is Deion going to be like, yeah, no? That's not where he's going. He's not going to go to a defensive-minded head coach in the Northwest closer to Alaska than New York City. He's just not going to do that. So, and there are other, I'm not saying Shedeur is the only option, but it's a real interesting dilemma that the Seahawks find themselves in, and I am very curious. It's sort of lying beneath the surface as by far the biggest issue facing this team. What are you going to do with Geno? Do you say, hey, look, the guy's done everything you want him to do. He comes back all the time. He's money in 2-minute situations. He's an accurate passer. He runs this offense well. He's using his legs still, even at the, in his mid-30s. There's a lot of really impressive parts of who Geno Smith is. Do you want to be together for the next 3 years into his late 30s is a very real question at a very real and large amount of money. And that is, again, lying beneath the surface as the biggest thing that the Seahawks have to work out here by this offseason. All right. We got an hour to go. That means your phone call's in about a half hour. Stacy Rost usually stops by Fridays at 9 o'clock, and we'll see what's on Stacy's mind as well. We'll do it next. It's Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
He is Mark Schlereth.
It was impressive, and you think about it. I mean, I thought, hey, man, they get Christian McCaffrey back, second game he's back. It's going to cure the red zone woes, and they're going to score a bunch of points. And to hold them to 17, I thought that was impressive. And then to put an 80-yard drive together at the end of the game to end that thing with that scramble by Geno Smith, I was really impressed with going on the road and doing the things they did.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like to check the propane tank on your grill first before hosting a tailgate.
Let's fire up. Here, let me try. Seriously? You didn't check the propane? Who wants chips?
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
Salt and vinegar?
You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Lowe's knows you want to get even more value for the holiday. That's why as a My Lowe's Rewards member, you get new member deals on holiday decor, tools, and more. And you earn points when you shop. More points equal more rewards to help you save on holiday and more. Not a member? Join for free today at Lowe's.com/MyLowe'sRewards because Lowe's knows deals. Program subject to terms and conditions. Points are awarded on eligible purchases. See Lowe's.com/terms for full details. Subject to change.
Hey Seahawks fans, Tyler Lockett for Brown Bear Car Wash. We've got the perfect play for a spotless car. With the Unlimited Wash Club, you can keep your car game ready all season long. It isn't clean unless it's Brown Bear clean.
Here at NC Machinery, people always ask, what can you do with Cat compact equipment? Well, here goes. Build gardens, patios, and parking, set posts and poles, plant trees, remove pipes, stumps, and rocks, clear snow, brush, and trees, trench, grade, and maintain. Landscape your backyard, your front yard, your neighbor's yard. Get through doorways, alleyways, and fence gates. Build roads, trails, fire breaks. Move gravel, wood chips, and hay. Clean pens and barns. Break concrete, asphalt, and gravel. Use tools like hammers, tampers, trenchers, mulchers, and mowers. And for the doers doing, the landscapers, contractors, and landowners digging, call NC Machinery to get 0% for 60 months on select compact equipment. Terms and conditions apply.
You're free now. Free to fill your feed with impossibly chonky chonkers who chonk harder than you ever thought possible.
Cats, corgis, babies, baby penguins, baby pandas, chunky baby pandas.
Free to make your smart devices do silly things. Free to open a world of remote work and a portal into Gametopia.
Who's the boss now?
Free to be everything you imagine, and then some. That's how it feels to have Quantum Fiber Internet. Quantum Fiber, your world unleashed. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service in select locations only.
If you worked in aircraft manufacturing or aircraft painting at Boeing, semiconductor or printed circuit board manufacturing, or other industries where hazardous chemicals or solvents were used, your children may be entitled to legal damages. Birth defects have been linked to toxic chemicals and solvents used in these industries. If your child was born with brain or spinal cord damage, organ or limb deformities, blindness, cerebral palsy, genetic damage, or other issues, and you're a past or present aircraft manufacturing or painting, semiconductor or circuit board worker, contact Weinstein-Cajano now, toll-free at 1-866-99-TOXIC. Your children may be entitled to legal damages. If you are a past or present worker in aircraft manufacturing or aircraft painting at Boeing, semiconductor or printed circuit board manufacturing, or other industry worker, and your child has a birth defect, call toll-free 1-866-99-TOXIC. Your call is confidential. 1-866-998-6942. That's 1-866-99-TOXIC. Message authorized by Weinstein-Cajano, 600 University Street, Suite 1620, Seattle, Washington.
Guys, your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, weight, and even ED. Schedule your free testosterone level check with the team at Revive Men's Health Seattle. Text the word BOOST, that's BOOST, to 65555, or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Message and data rates apply. Message frequency varies. Text help for help and stop to cancel. ReviveMen'sHealth.com/privacy policy for how to opt in. Info will be used, and ReviveMen'sHealth.com/terms of use for terms of service.
Hey, I'll take advantage of a slower season to save money and get your roof replaced quickly. Riverside Roofing has openings, and they'll get your roof turned around fast. You can find them at riversideroofingllc.com, and they are the roofing company you can trust.
Make this holiday season extra special in the kitchen of your dreams while saving thousands. Hi, this is Chad Cicchini, owner of Heritage Homecraft. Our solid wood refacing system delivers a luxurious new kitchen way easier and less expensive than a tear-out. Heritage Homecraft's specialty is custom cabinet refacing and quartz countertops. Our own craftsmen will reface your existing cabinet boxes with 1/4-inch thick solid hardwood and add new custom-built solid hardwood doors. We can make design changes, add cabinets, install custom features, and top it off with a beautiful quartz countertop, all in about a week. Book now, and we'll be able to schedule the installation of your new kitchen before the holidays, and you'll receive an additional 15% up to $3,000 off. Call today and schedule a free in-home consultation where we'll bring a showroom to you. Heritage Homecraft, 425-485-1600, 425-485-1600, or heritagehomecraft.com. That's heritagehomecraft.com.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
This hour is brought to you by Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
Get his freaking out! From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
I don't read the internet, guys.
Take the bull by the hands.
And Brooke, you are. And Brooke, you are.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Eward and Mike Salk.
Oh, man. Final hour of our week here on this show. Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710's Football Friday, which is powered by the Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Yes, and Hotel. We'll take some phone calls coming up in 30 minutes. Stacy Rost is here from the Bump and Stacy program.
Hi, guys. Hi, Lyle. Hi, Maura. Hello. Oh, I waved. That doesn't really work on radio. No, it worked. Sorry. That's okay.
Yeah, works on video. It's fine. Just wave on video. What's going on, Stacy? How are you?
I'm good. I'm tired.
Did you,
I had a blueberry muffin for breakfast.
Did you draw your cardinal yet?
I did. Mine's way better than yours. Yours
Well, that
is
doesn't. Yeah.
You are, and I say this with love and respect, the worst drawer I've ever seen, to where I wonder about your eyesight, about your depth perception. Like, you know how you wonder, like, how do dogs see the world? That's how I wonder about Mike Salk. Like, how does Mike Salk see, like, are the shapes that I see the same shapes he sees? Like, I'm looking at this computer screen and it's a rectangle. Does he see a rectangle? Because when I look at the bird he drew, it doesn't look like a bird. It doesn't look like anything I've seen. It looks, the only way I can describe it is like a rug, maybe.
A rug?
Yeah. It's offensively bad.
I know, yeah. So 2 problems for me. One, I never remember what any of these logos look like.
I don't either.
So I thought the Cardinals I thought it was a full bird. I forgot that it was just a head.
Yeah, it's just the head. Justin told me I always do it backwards.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah,
Without fail, I've done it facing the other way.
Well, I think that, like, if I realized it was just the head, I would have been better off. I was trying to draw a bird, but really it looked more like a plane, but not even really like that.
I told you, it looks like a rug. Like, you know those bear rugs in front of the fireplace? If there was a cardinal, but it wasn't a cardinal. It wasn't a bird.
I can't draw. I have absolutely no ability to do that
How's
whatsoever.
your handwriting?
It's awful.
Oh,
and I know that you have beautiful handwriting.
I do. Me and Brock. Brock has sneaky good handwriting, too.
For a lefty. Yeah.
Yeah, for a lefty. Good. Yeah. Well, I say that for everything. It's like, oh, he's a good guy for a lefty.
Right. So what else is going on in your world?
Well, can I tell you about an altercation I got into?
Yes.
It's not really an altercation, but like we all know the stereotype of like the can I speak to your manager Karen moment.
Oh, no.
I fear that I became a Karen.
Where and when?
Like a Pokemon card. I like charged up. Lyle, do you know anything about Pokemon? What did I like level up to the next Pokemon?
That sounds right. I mean, I played when I was a kid. It's been a long time.
I'm sorry for assuming that you would know about Pokemon. That was so rude of me.
When he was a kid a year ago.
No, we were going to the Kraken game. It's me, Derek, and 2 friends.
Okay.
And I have all of our tickets. We're a group of 4. We get there early, so we don't have to really wait in line. So we go through security. So we do wait in line. We get there. There's a line. We go through security. I go up to, I'm first, and I go up to the little ticket stand, and I go, hey, I got 4 with me. These 3 behind me are all with me. I'm going to go ahead and scan. He goes, okay. He's like 90.
Yeah.
And so I scan all 4 tickets, and I turn around, and he already is looking at Derek, who's behind me, and he goes, and do you have a ticket? I go, no. He's with me. These 3 behind me are all with me. And he goes, okay, but did you scan? And I was like,
yeah.
So already what you're doing with your face is what I did with my face, which is it has been 3 seconds of real time.
Right.
I'm not a memorable face. Like, I look like a very basic person, but I have not left your side, sir. I have been standing physically in front of you. And while I'm small, I'm also right next to you.
Right.
Yes, I scanned. It's still me.
Yeah.
I didn't leave.
It is a weird system now, though. Like, to be fair, not to be fair to him, but just in general, it is a weird system of, like, one person can only control all the tickets.
Yes.
And as much as I like not having to, like, remember tickets, it is weird when you're there, like, doing all 4, and then you have to sort of guess if
what
it's
I
right.
should have done is transferred all the tickets, but in my mind, it's easier to have them all on one. Anyways, so me and Derek go through security. We're waiting on the other side. We're in. We're like, let's go do this hockey. And then behind us, one of my friends who brought a little tiny fanny pack. I know. So this is, she's brought it to Mariners games. She's brought it, you know what I mean? She's like, this is my stadium, my arena bag. So she goes through, and this girl working security, who will come up later in this story, picks up the bag, and she pulls the fanny pack to like as straight as she can make it. She stretched it, and she goes, it needs to be about 2 inches smaller. You unfortunately cannot come in with this.
Stop.
So I know. So then the friend that we're with has to run back to the car, which is a 10-minute walk away. So she takes her bag and runs back. Well, now I'm going. And then her husband goes with her. And now I'm going, I've already scanned our tickets.
Right, how are they going to get in?
How are they going to get in now?
Right.
So me and Derek just wait. And we kind of, it takes them 15 minutes to get back. So then when they come back, the lines are really long now.
Of course.
So they're in another line. They're like, they try to go to the shortest one. They go through security, and it's first it's the husband. He's coming through. and I go up to the other woman. No, we're 4 lines long. And I go, I'm running over. Hi. So I scanned all 4 tickets to let these people in. This guy's with me, but it won't rescan my ticket. And the girl does this. That's right. If you didn't hear anything, it's because she didn't say anything. She stared at me blankly, so confused about what I was talking about. And I said, I have his ticket on my phone, but I scanned it already, but he couldn't come in because security sent him back. So this is my friend, and this is his ticket. How do I get him through here? And then she stares again. And, like, I look over at the guy working, like, the metal detector. He's looking at me like, I don't know. like, he feels bad for me. He's like, sorry. Like, he's like, I hate this girl, too.
You
like,
might as well go home.
Exactly. So then she goes, okay, well, why don't you go back through, like, basically go back into the line area with him and walk back and go up through the metal detector where the initial 90-year-old man was that scanned your ticket. Go back to him. And in my head, I already know this is not going to work. Remember, this man did not remember me when I was standing in front of him for 3 seconds. How is he going to remember me 15 minutes later? So I go, all right, if that's what you want me to do, I don't know why we can't just like waltz on over here or grab that guy, or why you can't just let him in. It's a Wednesday and we're old. I'm not sneaking people into this game. So we go back and I'm like, I'm not waiting in line. Now the lines are all the way out the door. Sure. I'm not waiting in line. I've already done this. I've been told like 3 different things by 3 different people. So I do this thing where I'm holding my phone in my hand, and I go through the metal detector, and I do a little head nod to the same girl. This is the fanny pack girl. A little head nod like, hi, it's me. I'm just back. Right. Like, I'm coming through. Ma'am.
Oh,
and then she holds up. It's this.
So now she can talk.
Yes, exactly.
She found her voice.
She found her voice. Ma'am, you can't come through here.
Jeez.
And I was like, then it happened. Then I changed.
Oh.
And I'm not proud of who I became. I said, I'm not standing in this line. She said, you have to go stand in the line. And I said, I'm not standing in this line. And I was like, I've become a stereotype. Right now, I am exactly who she thinks I am. I am the most annoying complainer. But I said, I'm not going through that line. I've been told to come back over here. I'm not waiting in this line. I'm going right up to that man right there. I look at him. He's like, I'm that man right there. He remembers me. And I'm not going through this line again. I'm not. She's like, well, it's unfair. You can't cut all these people. And I was like, oh my God, your coworker right over there just told me to come over and do this. Right. I'm making a scene. It's mortifying. Wow. And of course, I'm such an egomaniac. I'm like, oh, people totally know who I am. I am going to have to explain this on air. I have to explain why they saw Stacy Rost, the most famous person they know, complaining in a line. No one knows who I am. Yeah. So then a woman let me cut in front of her. Yeah. And I went through and I went up to the old man and I said, hi, remember me? No chance. Yeah. And so I just pretended to scan and walked in, and we got them in, and it just, but yeah, I got into like not a yelling match by any means, but as close as you could get to a yelling match, a back and forth of, I am not waiting in this line. Wow. So I just don't know if I was in the wrong. Like, am I in the wrong for getting an attitude? I'm reading some of the text messages.
Okay. Stacey didn't just become that. She's that all the time. Is that true?
Off and on.
Right.
I don't think I'm rude.
I don't think so either.
Yeah. And in hindsight, I think I was very rude, but I had been triggered. I had been sent to that place.
Okay.
You know? I don't think I'm in the wrong, but I regret the way I acted. I should have been above it.
Well, what were you supposed to do?
They sent you one too many different places.
What I will say, the only thing you could, it requires asking to speak to a manager, which sounds bad.
That's the thing, and I can't do that. I can't do that.
If you go, like, at least the entrance I've always gone into, there is like somebody to help with ticket issues that's just inside, and you can just walk right over.
I just think it's absolutely insane that I'm like, these are the 4 tickets. You sent these guys back. Like, this has to have happened to people before. There have to have been people that have gone to games, they scan the tickets, and then someone behind them can't come in, and they're like, well, what do I do now? And
get Wiki on the phone and tell him that you need to talk to him.
I'm telling you, I was this close.
Yeah.
I was this close.
You're Stacy Rost.
Exactly.
Like, if you need to talk to Wiki about what's going on with the tickets, you got to do that.
Look, I don't need to look at the text line. I can already know what they're saying. They're saying you were in the wrong. You shouldn't have been yelling.
And then Stacy bought a $20 seltzer and everything worked out.
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. Anyways, I regret my actions. Don't yell at people.
Well, thank you for coming in. That's a great story.
Yeah.
Karen Rost coming up a little bit later with, I'm sorry, Stacy Rost still.
Who's? I'm Karen.
That was Karen.
I'm Karen.
Karen Rost. That was a text message we got here.
It's fair. It's fair.
Well,
I don't
appreciate
like
you putting
either.
yourself out there and telling the story.
I wanted to be vulnerable with you guys, and I thought
nice.
that the listeners would be a little more understanding, but I'm being rightfully dragged. I understand.
Well, and I'm sure you know that the listeners are never understanding, so that will never happen.
some people that said they would have been worse.
Right?
Oh,
That's
wow.
what I'm saying. Like, when you're told by 5 different people 5 different things, you're like, I don't know. Your coworker told me this. This wasn't my idea.
425 says rich people problems are funny.
These tickets were free.
I would have guessed that.
I'm not rich. But that's hilarious.
Stacy, good stuff. We will look forward to bumping Stacy today at 10 o'clock, just about 50 minutes from now.
Bye.
All right, goodbye. There's Stacy Rost. We'll give you guys everything you need to know. And then for anybody who still wants to talk sports, we'll do so in 20 minutes, and I'll take your phone call. So stick around. It's Brock and Salk Sales Sports on 710.
Steps up, gonna run, 10, 5, Gino, touchdown, Seahawks!
The race for the NFC West is tightening as the Seahawks prepare to host Kyler Murray and the division-leading Arizona Cardinals.
Holy catfish, Gino Smith!
This Sunday, Hawks, Cardinals.
Are you kidding me? No quit in this bunch.
Kickoff 1:25 at Lumen Field. Pre-game coverage starting at 10 on your home for the Hawks, Seattle Sports.
In the fall, when the weather starts to change, Washington State sees an uptick in auto theft. A major reason is because of steamers. A steamer is when someone turns their car on to warm up and goes back inside the house, or when someone leaves their car running unattended. Car thieves are trained to spot steamers and will steal your car in a split second. Share this information with friends and family. Prevent the theft and keep yourself and your vehicle safe. These tips are brought to you by the Washington Auto Theft Prevention Authority.
If you're injured in the state of Washington, here's what matters. Who represents you matters. The experience of their staff matters. Their investigation team and track record of success matters. Davis Law Group was founded in Seattle and has been winning cases for more than 30 years. We know Washington State, we know our courts, and we know how to deliver the highest level of client satisfaction. And that's what matters.
Don't fall, just call Seattle Holiday Lights. We'll hang them up, we'll take them down, we'll do it right. So call Seattle Holiday Lights. Seattle Holiday Lights. Visit SeattleHolidayLights.com.
No power? No problem. Stay warm this winter with a Valor gas fireplace that can heat without electricity. Check them out at Bellevue Fireplace Shop, located 1 block east of Costco in Kirkland's Rose Hill Plaza. Bellevue Fireplace Shop and BellevueFireplaceShop.com.
My friends swim no matter the season, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now, thanks to Skyrizi and Clear Skin, count me in. With Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? I think my battery's dead. With free battery testing and charging, we can help you get back on the road.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
So what if I need a new one? We have the right Duralast battery for you, only at AutoZone.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
And what about my old battery? We can recycle it right here at America's #1 battery destination.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power Mop.
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
Heading outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
The
Direct savings and client focus, the cornerstones of the Diamond Dave philosophy.
Hi, I'm Diamond Dave Cantor. My team and I at Cantor Diamond can be your trusted friends with an inside scoop on the diamond world.
Just like they are to thousands of people around the world.
And just like we have been for over 34 years.
At Cantor Diamond, it's all about the diamonds and the savings, not paying for high-end retail locations or the overhead of a mall.
You stand to save big time with our by appointment professional office approach combined with direct importing.
When you choose Cantor Diamond, you choose huge savings, top quality, and excellent service. Call, email, or message us for an in-person appointment.
Or sit back and relax for free FedEx shipping anywhere in the USA.
Call Diamond Dave at 253-272-7007. That's 253-272-7007. Or follow them on Instagram at Cantor Diamond. That's at KANTOR Diamond.
Your business needs a network it can count on.
Power's out.
Comcast Business has you covered with Wi-Fi backup to help keep your business up and running, even when your power goes out.
Everybody in the warehouse good? Lights are out, but the Wi-Fi's up. Let's power on.
It's from the company with 99.9% network reliability.
Break room, you good? Can't microwave my burrito, but Wi-Fi's fine. Let's power on.
Power on with the leader in connectivity, Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ask about Wi-Fi backup for your business or get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year contract, plus for a limited time. Ask about an $800 holiday bonus prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call or go online to ComcastBusiness.com today. Ins 12/15/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabit per second internet and security edge. EcoBill and autopay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
Need to know. Brought to you by Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
The Seahawks are healthy. They really are. They're pretty darn healthy. As you look at teams around the league this time of year, it's not perfect. Nobody's going to have 100% health. But with Abe Lucas back now and DK Metcalf back and just looking at the injury report yesterday, there's just not a lot of significant names on there. The one exception to that is Leonard Williams, who's got a foot injury, didn't practice yesterday or the day before, but he managed to play through that last week. So I got to assume that Leonard's going to be okay and able to go out there. And he had a monster game in San Francisco. So hopefully that's not a big concern. Abe Lucas didn't practice yesterday, but that seems like maybe it was more preventative. Ryan Grubb, pretty confident that he'd be able to go a full game on Sunday.
Yeah, I think he is. I think we're going to, let him go out there and eat and see what he can do.
All right, good. Let him go out there and eat, see what he can do, and hopefully play as well as he did last week.
Really good. He's super physical. He's got the right demeanor on the sideline. It was noticeable, just his intent and his mindset. He's a very intense guy. Loves playing. It was great to have him back. I was actually really impressed with his ability to sustain on that last drive because I know that it was hard, and just when you get into longer drives like that, and you're not in game shape yet. It's certainly tough. So I think it speaks a little bit, to his demeanor and the type of mindset that he does have. But he played great. He didn't play perfect, but we were all really, really impressed. And I think, moving forward, he's going to be a big-time difference maker for us.
Well, he certainly should be. Noah Fant able to get back on the field yesterday as well. He could be a go for Sunday. Team's been practicing basically without power on the east side for the last couple days, so we'll see if that has a big effect. It shouldn't. What else? Jackson Smith and Jigba coming off a couple of big games. I don't know if he's the best receiver in the league, as a certain friend of ours said yesterday, but Ryan Grubb also impressed with how he's emerging.
I don't think there's ever been a game where I would have been worried about, throwing the ball to Jackson in a really big moment. I think that's exactly who he is. I think we're really blessed to have some, a couple veteran guys that obviously have made a lot of those plays. And then Jax is a guy that certainly is capable of making that kind of play at any moment. So just really excited for him. He's really starting to show what we know he is.
100% true. So, take all of this weaponry, take all of your good health, take the little momentum gain from hopefully a big win over San Francisco, use it against Arizona, break the problems that you've had at home, and you could be in first place by the end of the weekend.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Well, it wasn't really big news yesterday because it was just so obvious, but Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani, unanimous winners in each league for the MVP award. Nobody's surprised by that. Cal Raleigh does get a couple of votes in the 7, 8, 9 range, but the interesting Cal Raleigh news yesterday, Kylie McDaniel reporting that he switched his representation from Scott Boras to Excel Sports Management. Okay, what does that mean? Maybe nothing. Maybe it has no bearing on his future here. It's just a personnel thing or a personality issue, or he's upset with Boris for the way he's handled other clients last year. I have no idea why this went down, but I do know that there was an extreme unlikelihood that he was going to sign a long-term deal here with the Mariners before reaching free agency, as long as Scott Boras was his agent, whether it's because of Boris's relationship with his team or just Boris's ideas on what players should do to make sure that they get to free agency and leverage everything they can. He wasn't going to sign a long-term deal here before free agency. Now, this has to at least crack the door open. I don't know whether it means that he's going to sign a deal, but the likelihood has to be a lot better now than it was 2 days ago, just based on the fact that Scott Boras is now out of the picture. So hopefully that's what this means, and hopefully this is an opportunity for the Mariners to get something done long term. That would be great news instead of what it is now, which is probably closer to no news.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Awesome snow game last night. That was super fun to watch. I love it. I love watching these snow games, and especially when I'm not in the snow. It's especially nice when it's like 20 degrees warmer here. It's not snowing, but I get to see it on TV. And I'm telling you, the way Amazon, I don't know if they're producing it differently, if it's a different type of camera or whatever, the players almost look translucent at times, but they looked so clear, which has not always been the case with some of these snow games in the past. I thought it looked incredible. Super fun to watch. Browns win. Steelers lose. Nick Chubb getting into the end zone late.
From the gun. Hands it off. To the end zone goes Chubb. Touchdown Browns.
It seemed like the most Al Michaels was engaged so far this year. He seemed to be really into the whole snow effect and all of it. So fun game last night, and I really hope they don't end up putting a dome in Cleveland. I know they're talking about that for a new stadium, and that would be a bummer because snow games like that are cool and unique. Not a lot of great games this weekend. Actually, the only other two real good games this weekend are both in the NFC West. Rams hosting the Eagles, and San Francisco will be in Green Bay. Those are the only two games, aside from the Seahawks on Sunday, that feature teams at or above 500. Pretty crazy. So that's everything you need to know. We do a quarter past every hour here on the Brock and Salk Show. All right, we do this every time, every Friday at this time. We take phone calls, right? 866-979-3776. I will confess to you, I have a bad feeling about phone calls today. I have a bad feeling about it. I don't know what it is, just sort of a bad gut feeling that we're not going to get a lot of phone calls today. It's just a feeling. I can't prove it. I don't know it to be a fact. But if you are somebody that's always thought, maybe one day I will call into the show, maybe I'll have something to say, an opinion on this, that, or the other, today would be a good day for it because I think you'll be able to get through. I don't think the phone lines are going to be jammed. I don't know exactly what it is. It's just a gut feeling. So I'll ask you guys to help out a little bit. We got about 25 minutes set aside for your phone calls and to kind of hear what's on your mind. I'll throw out a few topics as I always do. If you want to talk Seahawks, how much did last week change your perception of this team? It seems like it's affected a lot of folks nationally. Did seeing them beat the Niners on Sunday affect your perception of who they are, of who the coach is, of who some of these players are? I think it affected mine because of the defense. Did it affect yours? Or are you taking more of a holistic, it's 5-5, that's kind of who they are approach? Mariners, Lyle brought up some relief pitchers earlier today. We could talk through that. We could talk through Cal Raleigh and what the Scott Boras stuff means. We can talk through all of the TV rights stuff that's been going on and what all that means. We can talk through whether you like Carlos Santana or Justin Turner, thank you. Mind blank. Justin Turner to play first base next year. I think both of those are interesting options if you've got a preference. We talked a lot of boxing this week just because of the Tyson fight and the Jake Paul thing. If you have opinions or thoughts on what you saw last week and what it means moving forward, I mean, those are just a couple of ideas. Kraken are always a possibility. I love talking hockey with you guys on Fridays. So let me give the number one more time, 866-979-3776. Today's a good day to call. Let's chat next on Brock and Salk.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
ESPN's Benjamin Solak.
You go and you bring in 2 free agent linebackers in the pro scouting process, right? In Tyrell Dodson and Jerome Baker. And then all of a sudden you're 10 weeks into the season and you got 2 new linebackers. And to me, that's a sign that the head coach and the general manager right now do not understand one another. They do not see eye to eye on what they need at positions to get systems done, to get schemes done. That's concerning. That could be a concerning outlook for John. And so it's important that John and Mike get on the same page.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Hey, are you looking to save on internet and mobile this holiday season? Well, good news. Xfinity is having a Black Friday sale. They have you covered with these great deals. Learn how to get your choice of a 5G phone on Xfinity. Plus, you can also get fast, reliable Xfinity internet with a line of Xfinity Mobile Unlimited for a great low price. So don't wait. Bring home a new 5G phone and get Wi-Fi speeds up to 1 gig on Xfinity Mobile. That's a big deal. Or should I say a gig deal? Now through December 3rd, ask how to get your choice of free 5G phone with an unlimited plus line. Plus, get Xfinity Gigabit internet with free Wi-Fi equipment for only $25 a month for 12 months with no annual contract when you add unlimited mobile. Go to Xfinity.com/Black Friday sale to learn more. Restrictions apply, taxes and fees extra after promo, regular rates apply. Gig Wi-Fi requires Xfinity Gateway. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity Internet. Gig speeds available via hotspots to Xfinity Mobile customers only. Reduced speeds after use of monthly data included with your data option. Actual internet speeds and data thresholds may vary.
I don't want to dig up my yard if I don't have to. That's why I hired O'Neill Plumbing. They're Seattle's trenchless plumbing pros. All rooter, all trenchless, always professional. O'Neill Plumbing since 1917.
Cressy Garage Doors. Make your home unique and stylish. Have it stand out from the other homes in your neighborhood. The #1 return on investment for your home. Cressy Garage Doors. Since 1952.
This year's ratings of the best TVs just got published, and Samsung, LG, and Sony scored the highest. Also, they warned about the poor performance of the bargain brands promoted at some stores. So where can you get the best deal on the top-rated TVs? At the club? Online? Nope. At Video Only. They've got their better than Black Friday deals on right now. Don't be sorry. Check out Video Only before you buy.
Adam Schefter here with Vivid Seats. We've got some late-breaking news coming out of the stands. According to multiple sources, Vivid Seats fans are scoring rewards on every purchase and at a rapid pace. Obviously, these rewards are a game changer, and coupled with their MVP-worthy ticket selection, why get tickets anywhere else? Don't drop the ball this season. Shop with Vivid Seats and earn rewards on every ticket. And as the official ticketing partner of ESPN, Vivid Seats is offering you $20 off your first $200 ticket purchase with code Schefter. That's code Schefter.
At the Home Depot, we know Saturdays are for college football. That's why we have everything you need to never miss a play. Like North America's #1 home fire safety brand, Kidda. Because on a day full of football sounds you love, like fight songs, roaring crowds, and your favorite commentators.
Like me, Kirk Herbstreit.
The last sound you want to hear is... Defend your game time with Kidda and the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Based on total household installations as of December 2023.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
Seahawks Player Spotlight.
Man, it felt good to go out there and be able to contribute.
Exclusive interviews with your favorite Seahawks.
You know, we got a genius as the head coach.
Every day with Wyman and Bob.
Matt Coker here from West Coast Men's Health. Guys, Viagra is not the answer for your problem. I know you think it is, but Viagra has horrible side effects, and for most men, the longer you're on it, the less it works. Viagra is not a curative medication. It's not fixing your problem. It's a Band-Aid for a shark bite. Acoustic wave therapy is the newest technology that can correct your problem, not just treat it. We can do something that no pill can do. We can restore your blood flow naturally. Get off Viagra today. Change your life like the thousands of men who already have, regardless of your age or your medical history. If you're tired of dealing with Peyronie's disease or erectile dysfunction, then call West Coast Men's Health today.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Now that the rain is here, I remember my conversation with Anthony, the owner of Asset Roofing, about metal roofs. And not only are metal roofs not loud when it rains, they're more eco-friendly, last twice as long, and Asset Roofing can do them for up to 30% less than their competitors. You can find out more at assetroofingco.com. That's assetroofingco.com.
Certified work that's never in doubt. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
Choose the right flooring for your home, right in your home, with Floor Coverings International. They bring the mobile showroom to you, loaded with samples of carpet, LVP, hardwood, laminate, tile, and more, so you can see the flooring in your light, not just in a store or on a screen. They handle every aspect of installation, ensuring your complete satisfaction. Visit fcifloors.com and book a free in-home consultation. Floor Coverings International, the stars of flooring.
This hour is brought to you by Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Well, Fella Cootie to finish off our week. Fella Fridays, Brock and Salk Sales Sports on 710 seattlesports.com. And I guess I was wrong. The people have called. The people are here. Excited to chat some sports with you guys for the last 20, 25 minutes or so of this show. So I'll dig right into it. The calls, 866-979-3776. We'll just start on line one and go from there. Byron's in Puyallup. What's going on?
Hey,
what's up?
So I think it's time to move on from Gino.
Okay.
Time to see what Sam Howell's got.
I don't know, man. Having a hard time hearing you, so I'm just going to move on. Let's see. Let's try Shonda in Chicago. Good morning.
Good morning, Mike. I wanted to ask, how concerned do you think the fan base should be from a team building perspective with the offensive line? I'm just concerned about John Snyder's commitment to it. I mean, it seems that he will draft a guy when he needs a body, but we haven't had a franchise center since Max Unger. I think it was Wyman and Bob a few months ago before the season started that he said guards are overdrafted and overpaid, which is something that is concerning to hear. From a team building perspective, what do you think? Do you think that is something that we should be concerned about going forward?
Yeah, I think it's a concern. How could it not be? I mean, it's been a decade essentially that we've been having the same conversation about the Seahawks offensive line. That being said, I did think they played better on Sunday. I do think getting Abe Lucas back in there helps. I do think that Olu seemed to settle things down in the middle of the interior of that offensive line. Do I think it's enough? No. Do I think there's still major concerns? Yes. But I don't know. For this week, at least, it's a little harder for me to focus on it just because you're coming off a time where I felt like their offensive line played a lot better than what we've seen.
I would agree with that. I just feel like this season, I'm not so much like going, I hope we can win the division, because we're in a rebuild kind of, regardless of how management and all those guys want to what they want to call it. I'm trusting that Mike McDonald knows what he's doing defensively and just needs some time to get it to look how he wants it to look, and to build it a little bit more in the coming off season and going forward. But I'm still concerned that we're not going to be able to get back to where we're hoping to be if we still have like kind of the stubborn, we're good. We can just throw anything in there and it'll be fine.
You like a Chicago hot dog?
I don't. I like the Chicago pizza. I'm not so much into the hot dog.
Yeah. Those hot dogs are good.
You think so?
I like the sport peppers. I like the pickle. I like the whole thing. Yeah, I do. You know what? I haven't been to Chicago in a while too. I love Chicago.
I like the sport peppers and all that stuff on the pizza.
All right. Oh, whoa! I hadn't even considered that as a possibility. Shauna, you're blowing my
Yeah.
mind. All right. I appreciate the phone call. Thank you for calling in from Chicago. You ever had a Chicago hot dog?
Yeah, they're pretty good.
They're delicious. They're really, really good.
I don't know how I feel about Chicago pizza, though. It's more like lasagna. I like New York pizza a lot better.
I tend to agree with you. It's like good for the first bite or two, and then you're like, I have to eat this whole thing. It's just like exhausting. Like it's
What's the defining
the deep
characteristics
dish,
of a
like the
Chicago
big
dog?
deep dish. Oh, the Chicago hot dog.
Yeah.
It's well, let's see. It's mustard, sport peppers, a pickle.
It's on like a poppy seed bun.
A little bit of tomato and a special type of bun. They're really good. They're really good. You can always get them at the airport, even if you're connecting. They're even good at the airport. All right, 866-979-3776. Let's try Cullen in Tacoma. What's going on? Good morning.
Morning, guys. How you going? I got a question for you. If the Mariners are to land Roki Sasaki, which pitcher in the starting rotation would you like to trade for offensive help and why?
All right, so I have an answer to this, and I wrote about it a little bit last week. But before I answer, I got to ask you for your answer because you called. Which, if in this dream scenario, the Mariners get to sign Roki Sasaki, and then they say, all right, we're ready to deal. We want to trade one of these 5 pitchers. Who would you deal?
I think it has to be George Kirby. And I think it has to be George Kirby because the return on investment is going to be better for Kirby than it is going to be for Luis or maybe even Wu or Miller. And I'm just higher on Wu and Miller, and I'd like to hold on to their club control a little bit longer than Kirby has. And Kirby, to me, has always just kind of felt destined to be a Yankee from being from New York. And I just, frankly, enjoy and trust Logan more than I trust Kirby.
So you and I see this very similarly, I got to say. Somewhat unpopularly, I agree with you. If I have to trade one of the 5, I too would trade Kirby, and for some pretty similar reasons. I think he provides the best value in what you would get back with what you'd be giving up. And I think that, I don't know that you get enough for Wu just because of some of the injury concerns in the past. I think that's problematic for your return. I think the same would be true with Luis Castillo, given the price and kind of where he's at in his career. So I don't know that either of those guys get you enough back to make it worth trading them. And then, of the other 3, I think, again, Bryce is the youngest, so I'm probably not dealing him. I think he has the greatest ability to continue to grow. And that gets you to Logan and George. And maybe it's a toss-up, especially if there's some concern that you couldn't sign Logan long-term. But I'm with you. I think Logan's such a hard worker. The way he continues to develop, I think that there's just so much more there. So almost by default, the answer appears to be George Kirby. It's not that, I don't love him. It just, if you got to trade one, I think that gets you the best value back for what you'd be giving up. Love the call and love your reasoning, not just because it agrees with mine, but because it's just well thought out. I appreciate it. 866-979-3776. Let me try Rob in University Place, the center of it all. What's up, Rob?
Hi, Mike, longtime listener, first-time caller.
Appreciate that.
My issue is with the Mariners infield. I think Caputo is really, really good at picking starting pitchers. But the infield he has given us is not acceptable if you're thinking about being in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting with Crawford. He's fallen way off with his batting. It's not acceptable. You go to second base. We all know that didn't work. You go to first base, where we have subpar defense when Turner is not playing. I mean, it's just not even acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
I'll throw in that we also need a backup catcher. Rojas was decent over at third base, and I like him. But we're kidding ourselves if we think we're going to put that product on the field.
Well, but nobody thinks they are. I mean, they don't think they are. It's not like they've come in and been like, hey, we really love the way our infield's at. Let's just take a nap for the rest of the offseason. You're talking at the beginning of the offseason with a Mariner team that has said, we know we need to upgrade at least 1, maybe 2, maybe 3 of the positions in our infield. I mean, they're recognizing that.
But doesn't seem to have reached my ears. And I've seen him pick up a few minor leaguers, but I haven't.
Right. Well, look, we're early, right? I mean, it's not even Thanksgiving yet, right? I mean, the winter meetings don't start for another 3 weeks, I think it is, 2.5, 3 weeks, something like that. So, look, if this is what the infield looks like on January 15th, please call me and say this is unacceptable. And I swear I'll be right there with you. I'll be like, yeah, this is a joke.
Okay.
You're not going into a major league season with an infield like this. But on November 22nd, yeah, they have work to do. There's no doubt about it. And, Dylan Moore and Rojas are probably, again, a decent platoon at one of the 4 spots. How do I feel about a platoon of Justin Turner or Carlos Santana and Luke Raley at first base? Okay, but it depends on what you're doing elsewhere. Right? When we talk about, wanting an adult in the room, you do. I do think they need that. I like the idea of a Turner or Santana to kind of work with Raley at first. I think that's fine. But only if you're adding at third base or adding significantly at second base. Like, you can only do that at so many positions. I'm okay with it in one spot. You can't be okay with it everywhere.
Yeah, that's my one rule. You're going to run out of platoon, pick one. That's it.
Yeah.
You can't see multiple platoons on this infield.
I think that's probably a good point. Yeah, I think I'm with you on that. 866-979-3776. Let me try Gary in Federal Way. Good morning, Gary.
Good morning. How are you doing this morning?
I'm good. I'm great.
Good. What I'm calling about is, as you have reported, DePoto has recently said that, hey, we want these mentor guys, like you were just talking on the last caller.
Mm-hmm.
We want these veteran players on the roster because we're going to grow our young guys. Well, my concern is that that's code for we're not going to spend any money this offseason. We're just going to grow our young players. And that's my concern, and that's what I wanted to bring up.
Okay. Appreciate it. Thanks for the phone call.
Do you agree, or do you feel? I'd like to get your take on it.
I don't have any idea. I don't know. I don't think that's code. Yeah. I mean, like, they need. I don't know how signing an older player is code for I'm not going to spend money on a player. Those guys are going to cost some amount of money, $8-10 million, somewhere in that range for either of those two veterans. Look, they do need a veteran. Like, I'm not saying it means they're going to spend money elsewhere, but I also don't know that it's a sign that they're not. They need adults in the room. They do have a lot of young guys, and some of them are really good. But Julio and some of those guys have played a whole lot better when they've had Carlos Santana's or Justin Turner's, specifically those two guys, in the room with them.
Didn't
and I think it helps.
Reports that Justin Turner was essentially like a hitting coach down the stretch when they were doing better?
I don't know that we've reported it, but I've certainly heard that.
I've heard people saying they felt that way.
I have definitely heard some stories about how much Justin Turner contributed to a lot of the success that the Mariners had, and talking to people both inside and outside the organization, they've backed that up in terms of what he brings to the table. So, look, the Mariner and their we can't seem to get through a Friday without talking about the Mariners and their budget. The budget will be what it is. I don't know whether it's going to go up or down. This is not a conversation about it, and I don't know whether signing an adult in the room, either Santana or Turner, has anything to do with the other conversation, but it is something I think they need to do regardless of whether they're spending money anywhere else. How's that? 866-979-3776. We'll bounce back to the Seahawks with Paul in Seattle. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning, Mike. How are you doing?
I'm great.
You know, I wanted to go back to the Seahawks just a little bit. I know we were just talking about the offensive line. I feel like there's optimism, and part of that goes to this past game. If you're stopping the run, and we've seen now a little bit of consistency in stopping the run, the hallmark of a good team that can do something in the playoffs is that you're stopping the run and you're rushing at least somewhat at average or above average.
Mm-hmm.
If we have three now of the offensive line, three starters, just think about at least above average play plus play from Charles Cross. If you get at least average play from Oluwatimi, I think it's fair to say he at least played average this past game. I know it's just one game. You have at least average play from now your right tackle and Abe Lucas, and he could be a top 10 when he's playing at his peak level.
Mm-hmm.
He could be. Now that's 3 out of the 5 starters on your line. Now, if you can imagine, at least average play going forward. I mean, from your right tackle, your center, and your left tackle, that's going to help increase the play of your 2 guards. If you get even close to average play now from your offensive line, think what that's going to do for the rushing attack for K9. And what that can do
there's
for
no
Geno.
doubt, Paul. I mean, I appreciate where you're coming from on this. I mean, the point we've made is in the last week, you changed out 40% of the human beings on your offensive line.
Yes.
And so you got to look at what you are with those human beings as opposed to the other ones that were there before. The only problem you have is Olu, we're talking about one game, and you're going to have to sustain it a lot more than one game before we're believers. And Abe Lucas is going to have to last a lot more than 1 or 2 games before we know and believe that he's a guy that can stay healthy, because unfortunately that just hasn't been his story so far. I was super encouraged about the fact that he said this isn't a chronic injury. Pete Carroll had said that it was. The fact that he says it's not and that it was just a significant injury that he's now got fixed, great. If it means that he can stay healthy moving forward, that's a game changer for this organization. If in 2-3 weeks we're talking about how Abe Lucas is back on the shelf and unfortunately whatever they did wasn't enough, then we're right back to square one, because that is such an enormous difference when he's in there versus when he's not. 866-979-3776. Let me try Tim in Tacoma. What's up, Tim?
Hey, good morning, folks. How you doing?
Good.
All right, just for a moment, let's pause. Let's push away the gray skies, the gloomy day, and let's think of a beautiful summer, July, August afternoon when our guy, Ichiro Suzuki, is going to get inducted into the Hall of Fame. How glorious of a day is that going to be?
Well, pretty great. I mean, what will be the best part for you?
Think about where he is on the pantheon of all-time players. Outside of Arenado, who's got, 8 All-Stars and 10 Gold Gloves, he may be the last person in my lifetime that's going to have 10 All-Stars and 10 Gold Gloves. When are we going to see that? And that's our guy, and I'm just so excited. I'm planning my trip. My whole family's going to be there. It's going to be just the greatest day. And I hope all the Mariners fans right now can just get on board and just let the skies open up and have a little sun rain down.
What do tickets cost for something like that?
They're pretty pricey.
Are they?
If you want to flying outside and then drive in, that's like the best way to go.
But what about even just like tickets to the event? Like, I've never actually been to Cooperstown, so I've never been there, not for a Hall of Fame or for how much are tickets to like see Ichiro get inducted?
Oh man, I'm looking for the secondary market. You know what I mean?
Okay. Well, that doesn't always get cheaper. Sometimes that makes it a whole lot more expensive. I don't know how much that costs, but yeah, it is a cool deal, Tim. And we talked a little bit earlier this week about Ichiro and some of the memories. Guy's a first ballot Hall of Famer. That should be set in stone. He should probably be unanimous, but who the heck knows what goes on with baseball writers and if 1 or 2 of them decide to make some sort of ridiculous point or whatever. But he did play for the Yankees for at least a couple of years, so he does have a shot at it, right? Is he going to go into the Hall of Fame as a Yankee? Do you know? Will he be a Yankee on the Hall of Fame?
No way.
I'm sure he will, right? I mean, that's where he had all his best years. That's where he was the most important with the
forgot.
Yankees. Right.
Well, maybe that's why some of the East Coast writers won't vote for him. Well, he wasn't very good when he was a Yankee.
Exactly. I saw him play here, and he wasn't that good when he was here. Ridiculous. All right, we got a couple more minutes.
Some pricing.
Okay, how much? How much it cost?
It looks like this includes lodging too.
Oh, okay.
It's between $2,000 and $4,000.
Whoa!
I figured it was going to be about that.
It's that pricey? I guess how many people do they like? It's like out on a lawn, basically, right? How many people do they get out there?
I mean, it's a lot.
A couple thousand?
Looks like that. So I've been to Cooperstown twice, but never for the actual Hall of Fame event. Yeah, obviously, it's just cheaper to tour the museum and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it always looks like there's a few thousand people out on the lawn. It's usually set up well.
Man, it never dawned on me that it would be that pricey, but I guess it makes sense, right? I mean, like limited space, and you're talking about the greatest players of all time that are all gathering there. So yeah, I guess it must be pretty pricey to go to something like that. 866-979-3776. Let me try Kevin in Everson. What's up, Kevin?
Hey, just wondering what your thoughts are on abolishing the 12th man.
Oh.
I don't think they're deserving of it anymore.
Wow. Explain.
Can you? Yeah. So, I'm getting real sick and tired of Niners games at home being filled with red and gold. The Steelers last year, black and gold. The stands aren't loud anymore. No home field advantage. Other fans think it's just a sorry fan base. Kids growing up in Seahawks homes, not even being Seahawks fans anymore. I just don't think they're deserving of that title anymore.
Wow. So how do you think we would go about stripping them of that name?
I don't know. I'm sure there's a legal process to it because
legal process.
There probably is. I think it's probably some kind of a legal name,
like a petition. You think you want some sort of petition?
I would consider that. Yeah,
Okay.
maybe a petition.
Maybe a ballot measure for the next election. Yeah. Well, Kevin, it's an interesting idea. I mean, in these divided times, I don't know how well a ballot measure like that would go. If there was some money spent here on the station, we'd certainly be okay taking some advertising. Yes on one, no on one, whatever the case may be. I guess Prop 12 would really be what you'd have to call it.
Well, it's funny. He mentions a legal process. Technically, it's not the 12-man anymore because that's A&M.
It's the 12s.
Yeah.
But I thought that wasn't because of A&M. I thought they just wanting to stop being man. I thought it was more of like a gender neutral, the 12s are more than just men, and it's sort of everybody.
Oh, maybe I have that wrong.
Because I know there was something, but I thought they retained the ability, even though A&M had it also, or whatever. I don't know, man. It's a little convoluted.
Guys, we got an update from Shannon. She says it's free.
It's free?
So the thing I was looking at said it included lodging. Maybe that's like a package.
Oh, so if you're there, you can just walk in?
Sounds like maybe hotels are pretty expensive at that point, but yeah.
Oh, well, that's interesting. You just walk out there. See, that's kind of what I was saying. I didn't think it would be that expensive. Interesting.
Well, yeah, if that's the case, you should stay
Camp
somewhere. Or I was just going to say, if you know people on the East Coast, period, stay somewhere on the East Coast, plan a trip out of it, and just make a day trip up or something.
I have family. You can drive from New Hampshire to Maine in like a couple hours.
Yeah, that's true.
It's easier to get around out there.
Yeah. All right. I'm intrigued by this. Very interesting. In fact, I have a friend whose kid is going to be playing a little league tournament during that time, and he's like, "Oh, I don't know how I can get tickets." Apparently, you just have to walk in. Oh, Brent, this is good news for you. I'll text you later. 866-979-3776. Do we have time for one more? Who should we get?
Well, Richard in D.C. is the same Richard. He wants to talk about meeting Tyrese Knight, but it's the same Richard that left you the message on probabilities, and here's the thing.
Oh, man. All right. Well, Richard, you're going to get the last word today. What's up, dude?
Hey, Sock. Thanks for taking my call. Happy Football Friday. So our DC 12s group this season traveled to Atlanta for our one away game per season game. And by the way, phenomenal fan experience there. Great city, amazing stadium. So getting out in our seats, I look to my left and I see a woman wearing a 48 jersey. Of course, I have no idea who that is. I Google it and I'm like, Tyrese Knight. So then I Google and I'm like, wait, why would someone pay that amount of money for a backup rookie's jersey? So yeah, I can be dense at times. So I asked her if she was a fan of his in college, and she says yes, because I'm his mom.
Oh, that's awesome.
We're like, oh my gosh. Yeah, so then we realize we're sitting around or surrounded by 10, 15 members of his family in like cool. matching Seahawks Tyrese Knight jerseys.
What are the odds of that?
We got elevated to the starting. Sorry?
I said, what are the odds of that? It was a little joke. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. And it is a good story. Unfortunately, we're out of time today.
No problem.
I've got to let you go. Thank you, Richard. It was a little odds joke, Maura. You like that?
Yeah.
Finish up the week.
He asked me why I didn't let you finish his message, and I was like, I have no control. He cut it off. I tried to tell him.
Yeah. It was for the sake of our listeners. Keep people interested and engaged.
Well, let's hope the Seahawks win this weekend. Their playoff odds will go up.
Whatever. Silly. Just silly. Oh, fun day. Greg Bishop was fun. Ray Roberts was great today. Adam Amin was awesome today. Stacy was great today. You guys were awesome today. What a day.
Love fest over here.
I'm full of love. If anybody needs some love, I'm your guy. You need a hug? Come stop by. I'll give you a hug. Whatever you need. Have a great weekend, everybody. Enjoy. We'll see what this looks like on Monday when we return to talk about this football team and talk to the coach, of course, as well. Until then, have a great weekend, and the hay is in the barn. See you, everybody.
Get to the chopper!
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
Let's get it. Arizona Cardinals. What's up?
Bump, what have you learned about the Cardinals this week?
They can run the football. Kyler Murray is elusive, one of the top 5 runners in the game when it comes to the quarterback position. They are a good football team. Watching film, I will continue to watch film all the way up until game day. And the more film I watch, the more I start to believe. Everyone seems like they are where they are supposed to be. And at this level, that is half the battle because you have some ballers out there. So, no, the Cardinals are real.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Black Friday is coming, and that's the smart time to shop for a top-rated TV from Samsung, LG, or Sony. But why wait? You can get those Black Friday TV deals right now at Video Only, and then enjoy Thanksgiving with your new TV. Still want to wait? Then how about better than Black Friday deals? The top-rated TVs at stupid low prices. Check out Video Only now before the rush, or you'll be sorry.
Build better benefits for your employees with the MBA Health Trust. The Master Builders Association of King and Snohomish Counties offers quality and affordable health benefits for local construction businesses. Learn more at mbahealthtrust.com.
If the playoff picture has you stressed, let us give you something to breathe easy about. Hey, it's Dr. Ryan Stern of the Stern Sinus Center. Let us fix your ear, nose, and throat problems. Let's make your congestion, sinusitis, snoring, and allergies a non-issue. We can diagnose and treat everything, from allergy workups and treatments to modern nasal breathing procedures to advanced balloon sinuplasty. Come see us in Federal Way and Auburn or at sternsinus.com. That's sternsinus.com.
Transform